Chapter 1876. Thank you, Miss Jingyu, for being lenient with me. She looked at Fang Jingyu with a sincere expression, as if she was very touched by Fang Jingyu's words. However, the words lenient with me were spoken with a heavy tone, perhaps because she was too emotional or for some other reason. It sounded like she was mocking Fang Jingyu for some reason. Before anyone could think further, Luo Qingtong continued, "It's just that Yin Bao and I have depended on each other since we were young. I treat it like family, so I definitely can't lose it. But it's all right." She smiled at Fang Jingyu and said innocently, "Miss Jingyu is so nice. You actually didn't pursue what happened just now. Yin Bao and I thank you. As for the demon beast that's stronger than Yin Bao, you can keep it for yourself, miss. We did such a wrong thing, so we don't dare to receive Miss's favor. I'll just be with Yin Bao. In the future, I'll definitely cultivate by the Valley Master's side and live up to Miss's expectations." As she spoke, her expression became more serious and grateful. Fang Jingyu was stunned when she heard this. Wait. She took a deep breath and looked at the young girl standing in front of her, thanking her happily. She couldn't react for a moment. What did you say? When did I say that I wouldn't pursue the matter? And she wanted to cultivate by her father's side and live up to her expectations? What the hell did she mean? Fang Jingyu couldn't wrap her head around it. Luo Qingtong looked at her with a face full of shock and confusion. Didn't you say so, miss? Seeing that we didn't do it on purpose, you can ask the Valley Master to find me a better demon beast. You can even ask the Valley Master to take me in as his disciple so that I can become a beast tamer in the future. But I only want Yin Bao. Luo Qingtong said calmly, so there's no need for the demon beast. Miss, you can keep it for yourself. I only want to become the Valley Master's disciple. After all, Miss has been so good to us and is so magnanimous. I can't push my luck. After Luo Qingtong finished speaking, Fang Jingyu was so angry that she couldn't speak. She couldn't push her luck? How was she not pushing her luck? She was simply advancing. What I'm saying is that if you give this little fox to me, I can ask my father to find you a better demonic beast and accept you as my disciple. Fang Jingyu gritted her teeth and said, "Are you misunderstanding something?" "I know." Luo Qingtong looked at her and nodded. "But didn't I tell you? Silver Bao is my family. I can't lose him. So, miss, I don't want the demonic beast that you exchanged with me. As for the Valley Master's teachings, I'll accept them. I won't let you down in the future." Luo Qingtong looked at Fang Jingtan with a serious expression. "Miss, did I say anything wrong?" Fang Jingyu choked on her words the moment they left her mouth. Did Luo Qingtong say anything wrong? No. She wanted him to give her the little fox, and then she would arrange a better demonic beast for him and her father to teach him. If Luo Qingtong was not willing, then she did not want the demonic beast. She only wanted the Valley Master's guidance. She wanted to live up to her expectations. What could she say? Logically speaking, there was no problem at all. But Fang Jingyu's original intention was to get Luo Qingtong to give her the little fox. Only then could she get these things. Her original intention was to give alms and clear her name. But Luo Qingtong interpreted it as an equivalent exchange. Chapter 1877. No way. Fang Jingyu took a deep breath and realized that she had accidentally fallen into a trap. If she had known earlier, she wouldn't have tried to show her magnanimity by telling Luo Qingtong, since they didn't do it on purpose. Now, her own words had turned the tables on her. Fang Jingyu stood there and took a few deep breaths before she was able to calm the resentment in her heart. What if I insist on taking that little fox in your arms? She looked coldly at Luo Qingtong. She couldn't control the emotions in her eyes. Originally, she had only offered to compensate Luo Qingtong for the sake of her and beast-taming King Valley's reputation. She didn't think that Luo Qingtong would use it against her. Fang Jingyu's eyes were cold. She didn't care if Luo Qingtong was really innocent or not. But this little fox, she must have it. Thinking of this, Fang Jingyu suddenly took a step forward. Seeing this, Luo Qingtong's eyes flashed with a cold light, mocking her. You want to snatch it by force? Miss, you must be joking, right? She looked in Fang Jingyu's direction with a shocked expression, then hugged the little silver fox tightly in her arms and said nervously, Miss, you're such a good person. You didn't even pursue the matter of us killing the thunder beast. Why would you snatch my silver treasure? She turned to beast-taming King Gu Guju and the others and said, Valley Master, I don't want to be your disciple, and I don't want the credit for exposing the celestial palace. Can you just let silver treasure stay by my side? I can't live without it. When Luo Qingtong said this, beast-taming King Gu Guju and the others' expressions froze. Jingyu. He called out to Fang Jingyu and swept his gaze across the crowd of onlookers. There were too many people here. If Luo Qingtong was just an ordinary apprentice, it would have been fine. But if he had stolen her silver fox, then so be it. No one would say anything about it. However, it just so happened that Luo Qingtong stood up and exposed the Celestial Palace's conspiracy. To the beast-taming King Valley, she had made a contribution. At this time, if Fang Jingyu were to snatch away her little fox, it would only cause others to look down on her, and the other disciples of the beast-taming King's Valley would be bitterly disappointed. After all, if they couldn't obtain protection even if they made contributions, then who would stand out when the sect was in trouble in the future? Moreover, if this matter were to spread out, Fang Jingyu and the beast-taming King's Valley's reputation would be tarnished. Plundering by force and plundering meritorious officials were two different things. The former would only show that Luo Qingtong was incompetent, while the beast-taming King Valley's tyranny would only increase their prestige. However, the latter would be considered ungrateful, and would be despised by others. With that thought in mind, the beast-tamer King Gu Guju had no choice but to speak up to stop Fang Jingyu. Although he really wanted Fang Jingyu to get the silver fox, he didn't want her to. Father. Being stopped by the beast-tamer King Gu Guju, Fang Jingyu's face was full of unwillingness. However, she also knew that at this time, she couldn't force it. This woman really knew how to use a chicken feather as an arrow. Didn't she just expose the Celestial Palace's conspiracy? She actually used this as a threat to make him unable to touch her. Fang Jingyu gritted her teeth. She knew that she had to solve this problem today. Otherwise, in front of so many people, these guests who came to attend the banquet would all know that she wanted to snatch Luo Qingtong's little fox. This way, even if she managed to snatch the little fox behind everyone's backs, she would still be able to do so. Everyone also knew what was going on. Her reputation would still be bad if word got out. Chapter 1878. At this time, Fang Jingyu regretted it. If she had known, she wouldn't have been so impulsive. She was angered by this woman's words. If she hadn't fallen into her trap, she wouldn't have lost her mind and tried to snatch it in front of so many people. Wouldn't it be better to wait until they left and then do it herself? Who would know what she did to Luo Qingtong? Thinking of this, Fang Jingyu's heart was vexed. She frowned and looked at Luo Qingtong, saying coldly, "Who said I wanted to snatch your little fox? As the daughter of the beast-tamer king, Gu Guju, what kind of demon beast can't I want? Why would I snatch your little fox? I just saw that you just made a contribution, and this little fox's strength isn't weak, so I thought of letting you let me contract it. At the same time, I'm giving you a chance. Since you're not willing, then forget it." After saying that, she turned and prepared to leave. Luo Qingtong looked at her back as she left, ignoring the gazes of others. She hugged Yi Qianxian and prepared to leave. She didn't intend to stay in the beast-tamer King's Valley for long. If these people wanted to make things difficult for her, then they could just come. It would be best if they wanted to help Fang Jingyu vent her anger and transfer her to the side of the higher-ups. This way, she would have more opportunities to inquire about the book. Luo Qingtong couldn't ask for more. She hugged the little silver fox that Yi Qianren had transformed into and prepared to leave. At this moment, she suddenly felt a sharp mental strength attack her. Or rather, it attacked Yi Qianxian in her arms. It was Fang Jingyu's mental strength. Luo Qingtong instantly sensed the source of this mental strength, and a bloody light flashed in her eyes. Since she couldn't do it openly, she decided to do it secretly. No wonder she left so decisively. Luo Qingtong looked at Fang Jingyu's face and was very unwilling. She originally thought that she would have to fight with her for a while. She had already thought of how to deal with her. Unexpectedly, the other party suddenly retreated. Luo Qingtong was a little surprised. So he was waiting for her here. Luo Qingtong's expression was calm when she sensed the mental power piercing into Yi Qianxian's mind. She was indescribably pleased, and her eyebrows didn't even twitch. You want to force Yi Qianxian into a contract? First of all, Yi Qianxian was not a real demon beast. Even if it was, with its strength, would Fang Jingyu want to force a contract with it? What a joke! Luo Qingtong didn't even pay attention to this spiritual force, as if she didn't notice it at all. She just continued walking forward with Yi Qianxian in her arms. Behind her, the beast-tamer King Gu Guzhu and the others also felt this mental energy, and their expressions changed. Fang Jingyu cultivated the beast-taming King Valley's strongest beast-taming art. Ordinary people wouldn't be able to detect this mental strength she sent out. Even the majority of the people in the beast-tamer King Valley couldn't detect it. Under such circumstances, only the upper echelons of the beast-taming King Valley could sense the spiritual force she emitted. They felt the mental strength rushing towards Yi Qianxian, as if it wanted to force a contract with the little fox. Although the higher-ups of the beast-tamer King Valley were a little surprised, they didn't say anything. Fang Jingyu's method wasn't very glorious. But the higher-ups of the beast-tamer King Valley had watched her grow up, and she was the daughter of the Valley Master. Everyone naturally stood on her side. Chapter 1879. As for Luo Qingtong, she was just an ordinary disciple. Although she had some talent, in their eyes, she couldn't compare to Fang Jingyu. Since the other party wanted the little fox so badly, as long as it wasn't discovered by outsiders, the beast-taming King's Valley would lose face and they would turn a blind eye to it. The upper echelons of beast-taming Valley didn't say anything, only watching as the spiritual force attacked Yi Qianxian. As for Fang Jingyu, who had turned around and pretended to leave, she was actually using the aura of the beast-taming art that she cultivated to forcefully contract Yi Qianming. A smug smile appeared on her face. Luo Qingtong thought that she could stop her by using a chicken feather as an arrow. In reality, the entire beast-taming valley was on her side. As long as she could successfully contract that little fox and make it run to her, who would dare say that she snatched the other party's little fox? As for Luo Qingtong, she wouldn't have anything to say. When the time came, she'd just have to watch her little fox stay by her side and see how heartbroken she'd be. Thinking of this, Fang Jingyu sneered. Her spiritual force pierced into Yi Qianxian's mind. Sensing the spiritual force entering his mind, Yi Qianxian's face turned cold and he snorted. Boom! In its mind, an extremely violent and vast mental energy, like a landslide or a tsunami, suddenly burst out. It immediately followed the mental energy that had pierced into its mind and blasted out. In an instant. Ah! In the sky above beast-taming valley, a sharp cry rang out. Fang Jingyu screamed as she hugged her head, rolling violently on the ground. Large pools of blood flowed out of her eyes, nose, and ears, soaking the ground. It was an indescribable ghastly sight. What's going on? The onlookers were shocked. They watched as Fang Jingyu turned around and left. Then, she fell to the ground and ended up in her current miserable state. Who dared to attack Fang Jingyu in beast-taming valley? And in front of beast-taming King Guguju and the others. Were none of them aware of it? Everyone's faces were filled with astonishment. The expressions of beast-tamer King Guguju and the others changed drastically. Jingyu. They rushed to Fang Jingyu's side and helped her up. My mental strength has been completely crushed. Even his foundation has been destroyed. After the Supreme Elder examined Fang Jingyu's body, his expression turned grim. Fang Jingyu's mental strength had been completely destroyed. Putting everything else aside, it would be impossible for her to become a beast tamer again, and it would be impossible for her to form a contract with another demonic beast. Bastard! The beast tamer King Guguju was furious. He angrily looked in the direction of Luo Qingtong and abruptly flicked his sleeves, shouting sternly, "Stop her for me." Fang Jingyu had been forced to contract with the Silver Fox, so this incident must have had something to do with him. Beast Tamer King Guguju's voice rang out. Instantly, everyone's expression became even more shocked. What was going on? How did this have anything to do with Luo Qingtong? Some of the smarter ones had already guessed the general truth of the matter. It seemed that Fang Jingyu was unwilling to give up and wanted to make a move on that girl, and even the Silver Fox, but an accident happened. Everyone recalled the tyrannical beast taming art in Beast Taming Valley. Chapter 1880. For this reason, the hierarchy in Beast Taming Valley was very strict. The beast taming art that the Beast Taming King Valley master and the others cultivated was different from the Beast Taming King Valley's beast taming art. It seemed that Fang Jingyu had tried to forcibly contract the Silver Fox and failed. That was why she had ended up like this. No wonder she turned around and left so decisively just now. She had been planning to secretly steal the Silver Fox, but for some unknown reason, she had suffered a backlash. While everyone was thinking this, the people from Beast Taming King Valley had already stopped Luo Qingtong, who had walked a short distance away, and brought her back. Luo Qingtong didn't resist. When Fang Jingyu made her move, she knew something like this would happen. She really didn't want to cause trouble, but if someone kept coming to seek death, what could she do? Fang Jingyu was looking for death, and she couldn't stop her. She could only deal with it as it came. If things didn't work out, then she would just leave. Next time, she would think of a way to investigate. But this was too troublesome. It wasn't easy to get some information about what happened in the past. If possible, Luo Qingtong didn't want to leave like this. Thinking of this, she looked at Beast Taming King Guguju and the others with surprise and vigilance. She said, "Valley Master, Elders, what are you doing? Didn't you say you wouldn't try to steal my Silver Fox again?" As she spoke, she hugged Yi Qianxian tightly. Her body was faintly trembling, and she looked very scared. But she still had the courage to argue with Guguju and the others. Seeing this, Beast Taming King Guguju and the others frowned. She wasn't the one who did this. Jingyu was just ambushed. As a beast taming master, she lost her most important mental strength. "Did you do this?" Beast Taming King Guguju coldly said, his cold eyes looking at Luo Qingtong. "Me?" Luo Qingtong froze, then shook her head. "How is that possible? If I had that kind of strength, I would have already killed those people who were chasing after me. And I wouldn't have caused my loved ones to die for me." As she spoke, her face was filled with grievance and disappointment. At the same time, she was a little angry. She looked at the beast tamer King Guguju and the others and pursed her lips. "I know you want to help Miss Jingyu snatch my silver treasure. In any case, I can't resist you. You don't have to deliberately frame me. Just kill me and take silver treasure. Otherwise, as long as I'm alive, I'll never give Silver Bow away." Luo Qingtong's voice rang out. In an instant, everyone's expression changed. Was this all a show put on by Beast Tamer King Guguju and the others? Was Fang Jingyu really innocent? Was she just trying to slander the girl and steal the Silver Fox from her? If that was the case, then wouldn't Beast Tamer King Guguju and the others be too shameless? To deal with an apprentice disciple, especially one who had contributed greatly to the Beast Tamer Valley, was there a need to use such dirty and disgusting methods? Even the disciples of the Beast Taming King Valley were looking at the Beast Taming King Valley Master and the others in confusion. The latter and the others felt the strange gazes from all around them and their expressions turned ugly. At the same time, they were also very confused. Could it be that they had really wronged Luo Qingtong? But Fang Jingyu really did have an accident when she was trying to force a contract with the Silver Fox. Chapter 1881. Humph. Beast Tamer King Guguju's face darkened as he said coldly, "Whether it was you or not, I'll find out once I try." As he spoke, he released his spiritual power, intending to forcefully contract Yi Qianxian in Luo Qingtong's arms. He wanted to see what was going on. Yi Qianren's eyes turned cold when she felt the attack of his mental strength. She wanted to destroy his mental strength just like how she dealt with Fang Jingyu. But at this moment, Luo Qingtong's mind flashed as she had a good idea. Perhaps this could be a blessing in disguise. "Qianren, defend. Don't touch it." Luo Qingtong's voice directly entered Yi Qianxian's mind. Yi Qianren's eyes flashed as he was about to blast out the vast and powerful mental strength in his mind. He immediately withdrew the mental strength that he was about to blast out. At the same time, he firmly guarded his mind, preventing Guguju's spiritual power from entering. Beast Tamer King Guguju's spiritual power lingered around the Silver Fox's head, but it was unable to enter, let alone forcefully contract it. Seeing this, Beast Tamer King Guguju's face was filled with shock. He was a supreme sage, and his spiritual power was incomparably strong. Under such circumstances, he was unable to contract a Silver Fox. This was simply impossible. The only explanation was that Luo Qingtong was also a beast tamer. Not only that, but her contract with the Silver Fox was of a very high level. That was why she was able to resist his spiritual power, preventing him from forcefully contracting it. This would explain why Fang Jingyu had suffered a backlash from forcefully contracting the Silver Fox. It was the same in Beast Tamer Valley. A high-level beast tamer could forcefully contract a lower-level beast tamer's contracted beast. But if a lower-level beast tamer tried to attack a higher-level beast tamer's contracted beast, he would suffer a backlash. The lower-level beast tamer's spiritual power would be destroyed in an instant. Because he was strong and had a strong spiritual power, he was fine. But Jingyu was different. She had forced herself to contract with the Silver Fox, which was why she had suffered a backlash. The beast tamer King Guguju thought that he had found the truth. He looked at Luo Qingtong in amazement. He didn't expect that she was also a beast tamer. Moreover, the beast tamer secret art she practiced was obviously not ordinary. It was even better than the beast taming art that he cultivated. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been able to resist his forceful contract. Beast tamer King Guguju was still amazed when he suddenly heard Luo Qingtong say, "Hurry up. Didn't you want to try it?" She looked angry and stubborn. "In any case, you guys are just looking for an excuse to attack me. Just find one. It doesn't matter. I can't resist anyway." As she spoke, her face was filled with indescribable cynicism and anger. Beast tamer King Guguju looked at her expression and a thought suddenly flashed through his mind. "You don't know that you're a beast tamer?" He looked at Luo Qingtong and said. "What? This girl was actually a beast tamer?" Everyone in the surroundings was shocked. They all looked at Luo Qingtong. The people of Beast Tamer Valley were also very surprised. Especially the higher-ups of Beast Tamer Valley. Beast Tamer King Guguju's action just now was seen by them. It was obvious that the Valley Master had used his spiritual power to forcefully contract with the Silver Fox. Chapter 1882. Everyone's expression was very surprised. At this time, the Supreme Elder suddenly made a move. His spiritual power suddenly spread out from his mind and pierced towards Yi Qianxian. After hearing Luo Qingtong's words, Yi Qianxian was too lazy to pay attention to him. He only defended his mind to prevent the other party from invading it. The Supreme Elder's spiritual power lingered around him for a long time before he finally withdrew it. She is indeed a beast tamer. Moreover, the beast taming art that she cultivates is very unusual. He sent a voice transmission to the people around him. His eyes seemed to be shining as he looked at Luo Qingtong. What beast tamer? What are you talking about? Luo Qingtong frowned and looked at them in surprise. I haven't started cultivating the beast taming art yet. The expression on her face was very decent. Don't slander me so casually. I didn't steal the beast taming art of your beast taming King Valley. She looked at the beast taming King Guguju and the others with an angry expression. These people were really too much. First, they slandered her for attacking Fang Jingyu. Now, they slandered her for stealing their beast taming King Valley's beast taming art. Could they be more shameless? Luo Qingtong's expression at this moment was just like the above. Beast taming King Guguju and the Supreme Elder looked at her with a strange expression. Stealing the beast taming art of their beast taming King Valley? The beast taming art that she cultivates is obviously more advanced than theirs. What's there to steal? However, the other party really didn't seem to know that she was a beast tamer. Not only that, it seems that she didn't know anything about her own cultivation method. This is troublesome. The two of them thought so and suddenly looked at each other and frowned. According to the thoughts of the beast taming King Valley and the Supreme Elder, since Luo Qingtong was a beast tamer and cultivated such a powerful beast taming art, they naturally wanted the other party to hand over the beast taming art. However, Luo Qingtong obviously didn't know that she was a beast tamer, let alone the beast taming art. How can they make her hand it over? The two of them were very depressed. You really don't know that you're a beast tamer? The beast tamer King Guguju asked her with a solemn expression. Luo Qingtong was stunned when she heard that. She looked at the beast tamer King Guguju, then at the Great Elder. She pointed at herself with a shocked expression and said, I am really a beast tamer? Silver Bao has been so obedient to me since he was young because, it's your contracted beast. Beast tamer King Guguju said. So that's the case? Luo Qingtong was in disbelief. No wonder. No wonder they wanted to kill me, she murmured, as if she had thought of something, and her eyes reddened. The Supreme Elder and the beast tamer King Guguju looked at each other. They roughly knew that the other party was talking about her being hunted down before. Regarding Luo Qingtong's information and experience, when she stood out in the main hall to testify against Yun Yen and the Celestial Palace, the beast tamer King Guguju and the Supreme Elder already knew. Now that they heard Luo Qingtong's murmur, their eyes lit up. She really did have a secret, and it was clearly related to the beast taming art she cultivated. In an instant, the two of them reached a consensus. They first comforted Luo Qingtong. Her situation was a bit special. Chapter 1883. Fortunately, they didn't go too far with the matter. There was still room to salvage the situation. Beast tamer King Guguju and Grand Elder's expressions changed slightly as they nodded to each other. Beast tamer King Guguju said to Luo Qingtong, this is a misunderstanding. Jingyu is in trouble. We were anxious and accidentally wronged you. This is our fault. Beast tamer King Guguju was very clear. Luo Qingtong's beast tamer art was more powerful than theirs. They couldn't let her know. Otherwise, she would immediately know that they had ulterior motives. Moreover, Fang Jingyu became like this because she wanted to force a contract with the Silver Fox. That was even more unspeakable. Therefore, this matter could only be an accident. They couldn't have the slightest connection with Luo Qingtong. He continued to say to Luo Qingtong, as compensation, you will cultivate with me from now on. I will personally teach you about beast tamer art. I will let you improve your strength to the best of your ability. If he placed her by his side to guide her, even if she didn't know what cultivation method he was cultivating, he would still have the opportunity to see some clues from her cultivation and attacks, right? Beast tamer King Guguju had this idea in mind. As he was speaking, a sharp voice suddenly rang out at this moment. No! Fang Jingyu had already woken up from her coma. Her face was in a sorry state. When she found out that her spiritual power had been destroyed and that she could no longer contract with demon beasts and become a beast tamer, she was about to go crazy. When she heard beast tamer King Guguju's words, she almost went crazy. Luo Qingtong caused her to become like this. Her father still wanted to take her as a disciple and let her be his personal teacher. He even said that her matter was just an accident. He even apologized to this slut and said that it was their fault. Fang Jingyu didn't know that the beast-taming King Guguju and the others had already found out that the beast-taming art in Luo Qingtong's body was very powerful. They had other intentions behind this arrangement. Hearing this, she almost went crazy on the spot. She screamed and crawled up from the ground. Facing the beast-tamer King Guguju, she shouted, I don't agree. What right does she have to cultivate by your side? Fang Jingyu still had a shred of rationality left in her. She didn't mention that she had attacked Luo Qingtong and ended up being crippled. But even so, the way she looked at Luo Qingtong was as if she wanted to eat her up. I don't agree. Shut up. The beast-tamer King Guguju's expression turned cold. Of course, he was heartbroken that his daughter had become like this. But compared to his own strength, it was not worth mentioning at all. He must obtain Luo Qingtong's beast-taming incantation. He could not let Fang Jingyu ruin his plans. Shut up. It was you who wanted to snatch Night Eye's little silver fox that caused this misunderstanding. Now that your spiritual power has been crippled, you don't even know how to regret it. You're simply unreasonable. He said coldly. Father. Fang Jingyu looked at the beast-tamer King Guguju in disbelief. He actually scolded her. And in front of so many people. What was going on? How could this be? Just as she was in disbelief, the Grand Elder's voice rang out at this moment. Your father is right. Jingyu, you were in the wrong before. Chapter 1884. This is also our compensation to her. Don't question it. The Grand Elder's words contained a hidden warning. In an instant, Fang Jingyu's eyes widened. Beast tamer? The other party was actually a beast tamer? She finally knew how her mental strength had been crippled. It wasn't because something on Luo Qingtong's body had done something to her. Instead, it was because she had failed to forcefully form a contract. Fang Jingyu's figure staggered back 2 steps. Beast Tamer King Guguju and the Grand Elder's attitude made her understand that Luo Qingtong, this Beast Tamer, was definitely not simple. She was afraid that the Beast Tamer art she cultivated was extremely powerful. That was why the two of them were so protective of her. Thinking of this, Fang Jingyu's heart was completely unable to accept it. The other party had caused her to be in this state, and in the end, she actually had to respect her and stay away from her. Even if it was only temporary, she still couldn't. Her heart was filled with extreme hatred. Both her hands were fiercely pinching her palms as she coldly said, even if it's like this, she can't completely break the rules. New official disciples must enter the Beast Garden to serve for a month. Even if I'm wrong this time, she should enter the Beast Garden to serve for a few days. Otherwise, wouldn't it be unfair to the other disciples? The Beast Garden, the contracted demonic beasts of the Beast Tamer King's Valley were all locked up inside. Working there was simply a hard job. Generally speaking, the disciples who had caught the eye of the various elders would only go through the motions when they entered the sect. Only the other ordinary new official disciples needed to do things inside. It was dirty and messy inside, the demonic beasts were wild, and sometimes even accidents would happen. Fang Jingyu knew that beast tamer King Gu Guzhu and the rest would definitely not let anything happen to Luo Qingtong inside. But this didn't mean that she couldn't teach her a lesson. Anyway, it was fine as long as she didn't kill her. In short, she wasn't willing to let Luo Qingtong off so easily. Alright. Knowing Fang Jingyu's thoughts, beast tamer King Gu Guzhu and the rest nodded and didn't continue to refuse. First of all, they didn't really want to protect Luo Qingtong. Instead, they wanted to obtain her beast-taming secret art from her. Secondly, Fang Jingyu's mental strength had been crippled. There was no way they wouldn't let her vent her anger. In the end, if it wasn't for Luo Qingtong's special situation where she didn't know that he was a beast tamer and didn't know his beast tamer technique, beast tamer King Gu Guzhu and the others wouldn't have been so polite to her. They had already found a crime to arrest her and interrogate her under torture. After all, Fang Jingyu was on their side, and Luo Qingtong was just an outsider. Since she had offended the other party, the beast tamer King Gu Guzhu and the others naturally wouldn't let her off. Just like just now, if Luo Qingtong hadn't exposed her identity as a beast tamer King Gu Guzhu might have crippled her on the spot. He didn't care if Fang Jingyu was the one who brought this upon herself. Nightai. This has always been the rule of our beast-taming King Valley. Every official disciple has to enter the beast garden to serve at the beginning. After beast tamer King Gu Guzhu agreed, he looked at Luo Qingtong and said, "Although I'll compensate you and let you enter my sect, you still have to abide by the rules. How about this, you don't have to enter for a month. You can enter for 7 days. How about it?" Beast tamer King Gu Guzhu naturally wouldn't let Luo Qingtong enter for a month. Chapter 1885. How much time would this waste? 7 days was already the limit he could accept. However, his words were very skillful. In other people's ears, it sounded like he was thinking for Luo Qingtong, so he reduced the time. If it was someone else, they might be deeply grateful to him and be dead set on following him. But the one standing here was Luo Qingtong. She sneered as she looked at the beast tamer King Gu Guzhu acting, but she didn't care. The other party wanted to use her, and she also wanted to use the other party. Luo Qingtong couldn't be bothered to continue entangling with Fang Jingyu. "Okay, thank you Valley Master." Luo Qingtong pretended to be very happy. The beast tamer King Gu Guzhu nodded in satisfaction. The other party was very naive, which was very good. Thinking about it, it wouldn't be long before he could find out the secret of her beast tamer art from the other party. In the end, the birthday party ended up in a mess and desolation. Fang Jingyu became the biggest joke. During the birthday banquet, the demonic beast she was supposed to contract died. Not only that, her spiritual power was also crippled. In the future, it would be impossible for her to contract demonic beasts and become a beast tamer. In the beast tamer King Valley, if she couldn't become a beast tamer, it meant that her status would drop. Even if Fang Jingyu was the daughter of the Valley Master, she found that the gazes of the people around her were not right. In the past, these people looked at her with envy and respect. Now, they were all gloating and complacent. The only respect left was not directed at her. It was because she had the Valley Master as her father. Bang! In the room, Fang Jingyu ruthlessly smashed the furnishings in her room. She angrily looked at the maid beside her like a ferocious demon. "Where's that bitch? Did she go to the beast garden?" Fang Jingyu was very angry in her heart. She had become like this, all because of Luo Qingtong. Wait until she went to the beast garden, see how she would deal with her. Already prepared to go. "Do you want me to rush her?" The maids serving Fang Jingyu were very submissive. After Fang Jingyu's mental strength was crippled, she became extremely temperamental. She was suffering unspeakably and desperately wanted to escape from this place. Humph. Go. Fang Jingyu's voice was cold. When she gets there, come back and tell me immediately. Also, call the manager of the Beast Garden over. At that time, she would definitely let Luo Qingtong have a good taste of it. Yes. The maid hurriedly left. At this time, in Luo Qingtong's room, she looked at the girl in front of her. You're leaving? Yunxi had come to say goodbye to her. She wanted to leave Beast Taming King Valley and return home. Yes. Yunxi nodded. The girl in white was very pure and beautiful. She looked helpless and helpless. I can't stay here anymore. After the birthday party, all kinds of people came to make trouble for her. Yunxi knew that it was because she had stood up for Luo Qingtong at the birthday party. Previously, these were all good things, and they were things that could make her proud. But after Luo Qingtong offended Fang Jingyu, these things became reasons for others to deal with her. Those people didn't dare to deal with Luo Qingtong, but they wanted to curry favor with Fang Jingyu, so they could only deal with her. However, Yunxi didn't blame Luo Qingtong. After all, it was her own choice to stand up for Luo Qingtong. Chapter 1886. Okay. Luo Qingtong nodded. She probably knew why Yunxi couldn't stay any longer. It was most likely because of what happened between her and Fang Jingyu. I've implicated you this time. Plans couldn't keep up with changes. Luo Qingtong didn't expect so many things to happen at a birthday party. But it was good that the other party left. After all, she didn't know what would happen next. Luo Qingtong didn't care, but Yunxi might lose her life in the future if she got involved with her. She handed a black package to Yunxi. Take this and open it when you get home. What Luo Qingtong gave Yunxi was the Beast Taming King Valley manual that she found on Han Dong's body when she killed him. People who didn't have the talent to be a beast tamer couldn't practice this book. But Yunxi had it. Luo Qingtong gave this to her, which made up for her regret of being expelled by the people of the Beast Taming Valley. After all, Han Dong was the disciple of the Beast Taming Valley's Gu Guzhu. He was a core disciple of the Beast Taming Valley. The beast taming cultivation method that he cultivated was the best kind. If Yunxi had stayed in the Beast Taming Valley, even if the elders took a fancy to her, the level of the beast taming technique she practiced would never be as good as the one Luo Qingtong found on Han Dong. Of course, the one on Han Dong wasn't complete. But Luo Qingtong had the blood eyes, and she had already made up for it. In addition, she gave Yunxi some pills for improvement. It could also be considered as repaying her for helping him before but being implicated. Luo Qingtong handed these things to Yunxi. Yunxi didn't know what these things were, and she didn't want them at first. But Luo Qingtong said that she would regret it if she didn't want them. She hesitated for a moment, then accepted them. She didn't have much time to spend with Luo Qingtong. But Yunxi felt that the other party had a majesty in her words and actions, which made people subconsciously want to obey her orders and believe in her. You must not be an ordinary person, right? She looked at Luo Qingtong. Someone from a first-rate sect? She asked tentatively. Luo Qingtong looked at her with a faint smile. No, I am someone from the true Spill Continent's mortal world. How is this possible? Yunxi rolled her eyes. She didn't believe her at all. Forget it. If you don't want to tell me, I won't ask you. Thinking that Luo Qingtong didn't want to reveal her identity and origin, Yunxi didn't ask any more questions. She took the black bag and stood up. Be careful, Fang Jingyu definitely won't let you off easily. Don't worry when you go to the Beast Garden. Okay. Luo Qingtong nodded. Then, she felt a little helpless. She was speechless that no one believed her when she told the truth. Yunxi left the Beast Taming King's Valley on the same day. Because she had already received orders, no one stopped her when she left. Otherwise, with her talent among the new disciples that was not weak, it was reasonable to say that she would not be allowed to leave. But those who had bullied Yunxi had intended to force Yunxi away. They wanted to take revenge on Luo Qingtong, and it would be too late for her to regret. Thus, Yunxi easily left the beast-taming King Valley. After Yunxi left, Luo Qingtong also entered the Beast Garden. This is the Beast Garden. From now on, you will eat and live here for 7 days. Take care of these demonic beasts. Luo Qingtong was led into a huge garden by the steward of the Beast Garden. Rather than a garden, it was better to call it a huge plain. There was a fence inside, and the fences formed a circle. The trees used to make the fence soared into the sky. Chapter 1887. These demonic beasts had blood-red eyes and were in an abnormally violent state. After Luo Qingtong and the steward entered, many demonic beasts roared violently. Even more demonic beasts crazily rammed against the fences, as if they wanted to escape. The scene was extremely frightening. Luo Qingtong followed the steward to a garden where top-level saint beasts were locked up. The demonic beasts inside were extremely violent and were at least at the Saint Emperor realm. They were all contracted beasts of the upper echelons of the beast-taming King Valley. As these contracted beasts roared loudly, the violent aura around them spread outwards along with their roars. With this kind of strength and power, the slightest carelessness could easily kill any disciple standing in front of them. Generally speaking, those who came to take care of these demonic beasts were the stronger core disciples of the beast-taming King Valley. For example, new disciples like Luo Qingtong who had just entered the beast-taming King Valley would usually take care of the contracted beasts of the disciples below them. But at this moment, Luo Qingtong was brought to this top-level beast garden by the steward of the beast garden. All of this should not have been in accordance with the rules. At this moment, the steward of the beast garden was looking at Luo Qingtong with a complacent expression, waiting for her to make a fool of herself and reveal an ugly expression as she begged for mercy. However, he was destined to be disappointed. Luo Qingtong only swept a glance at these demonic beasts and directly stepped into the garden. His actions were so direct and efficient that the manager of the beast garden was stunned when he saw it. Could it be that she didn't know that the strength of the demonic beasts in this garden was not something that she could challenge? Thinking of this, the steward of the beast garden suddenly said loudly, "The demonic beasts in this garden are all at the Saint Emperor realm and above. Under normal circumstances, they are all taken care of by the core disciples. Since you are the Valley Master's last disciple, you are naturally different from the rest. You should be able to deal with these demonic beasts, right?" He deliberately said this for Luo Qingtong to hear, to let her know how terrifying these demonic beasts were. However, Luo Qingtong only glanced at him indifferently and did not react at all, directly walking into the garden. "Bastard!" The steward's expression was flustered and exasperated. He did not believe that Luo Qingtong was not afraid. He wanted to see how she would piss her pants in terror when she came out later. However, he waited outside for a long time and did not even see Luo Qingtong's shadow. In the end, he had no choice but to leave in a flustered and exasperated. And after Luo Qingtong entered the garden, she started to wander around. Yi Luo Qingtong, and Luo Qingtong. Luo Qingtong's Luo Qingtong. Luo Qingtong, Luo's Luo Qingtong, Luo Qingtong, Luo Tong, to Luo Qingtong, Luo on to Luo. Yi Qianming, who had turned into Silver Bao, called out softly. That was because the one standing here was this woman. If it was anyone else, no matter how talented they would have been scared to death in the face of so many ferocious demonic beasts. They would have cried and screamed to leave this place. By then, Fang Jingyu would be in for a good show. Furthermore, the other party would definitely have other moves. Chapter 1888. Huh, it's fine. Luo Qingtong hugged it and kissed it. Then she put it down and said with a calm and satisfied expression, let her play however she wants. Let's just take it as a good trip to relax. She and Yi Qianming hadn't been alone like this for a long time. In this beast garden, apart from those wild and unsightly contracted beasts, the scenery was quite beautiful. Since Fang Jingyu wanted to deal with her, then she would anger her to death. Ow! Yi Qianming responded softly and didn't pay much attention. At this moment, Fang Jingyu received the report and broke the armrest in her hand. What did you say? She didn't react at all. Not scared? Scared? Fang Jingyu's face was filled with anger. She brought Luo Qingtong over so that she could embarrass her and teach her a lesson. How could the other party not react at all? Fang Jingyu's face was filled with rage. She didn't hold back at all as the aura in her body exploded out. All right. Jingyu. Seeing the trembling body of the beast garden manager who came to report, the beast tamer King Gu Guzhu blocked her aura with a solemn expression. You shouldn't be in a hurry to deal with her at this time. The her he was referring to was naturally Luo Qingtong. Wait until we get the beast tamer spell in her body. Then you can do whatever you want with her. Why make things difficult for her now? He frowned. But I can't stand it. Father. Fang Jingyu clenched her fingers. Who knows when you'll get the beast tamer spell in her body? Moreover, who knew if Luo Qingtong's strength would become even more powerful with the help of the beast tamer spell? At that time, who would be more important, the daughter of the valley master whose mental strength had been crippled, or Luo Qingtong, the beast tamer master with unlimited potential? At that time, her father might not even bear to hurt Luo Qingtong. Thinking of this, Fang Jingyu's heart was filled with hatred. The most painful thing in the world was that your enemy was right beside you, but you couldn't kill her directly. Father, my spiritual power has already been crippled. Don't you even give me a chance to vent? Fang Jingyu cried. I just want to teach her a lesson. Aren't you going to let me do this? Forget it, do as you wish. The beast tamer King Gu Guzhu looked at Fang Jingyu's tear-stained face and frowned. He was also furious that his daughter's spiritual power had been crippled. However, for the sake of Luo Qingtong's beast-taming incantation, he had no choice but to endure. If his daughter wants to teach him a lesson, then so be it. At most, they could just watch from the side. Rush out at the critical moment and don't let Luo Qingtong die. At that time, he might even be able to receive an even stronger gratitude from her. It was very useful for their future plans. He nodded at Fang Jingyu. Good. Thank you, father. Fang Jingyu's tears turned into a smile, but the coldness in her eyes was unusually cold. She only wanted to teach Luo Qingtong a lesson. However, if the other party died because of this, she couldn't be blamed, right? Thinking of this, she turned to look at the steward of the beast garden and said, Did you hear what my father said? You should know what to do, right? Night-Eye, I want to see her appear in front of me in tears. Don't be afraid of killing her. Her words had a double meaning. My father and the others will save her, HM? Her expression was fierce. Chapter 1889. As for Luo Qingtong and Yi Qianren, after strolling around the beast garden for a while, they started taking care of these demonic beasts. To put it bluntly, they were innocent. Since Luo Qingtong was here, she wouldn't ignore them and let them starve and freeze. At the same time, she could also relax her mood. Since she came to this world, she hadn't really let go of her heart and enjoy anything. With Yi Qianming by her side and the 9-layer exquisite pagoda in her body, Luo Qingtong wasn't afraid of anything happening in the beast garden. Qianming, give me that handkerchief. Luo Qingtong prepared food for the beasts. After she stirred all the food and prepared it, she asked Yi Qianming to give her a handkerchief to wipe her sweat. The latter walked beside her with his head held high and originally didn't want to pay attention to her. But when he saw the faint sweat on her forehead, he stopped in his tracks and suddenly appeared in front of a clean handkerchief. He bit the handkerchief and dragged it down. However, his body was small, and just as he dragged the handkerchief down, Yi Qianming was wrapped up by the handkerchief. The round figure rolled in the air and fell into the grass in an instant. When Luo Qingtong heard the sound, she saw him struggling desperately in the handkerchief. Pfft! Luo Qingtong looked at him and couldn't help but laugh. This man was really. Luo Qingtong tried hard to suppress the laughter in her heart and quickly ran over to rescue Yi Qianming from the handkerchief that was tightly wrapped around him. The latter's cute fox face was black from the moment he came out. Yi Qianming felt that all the dignity and coldness in his life had been destroyed by this demon fox blood curse. After this, he would never turn into a little fox again. Absolutely not. He was depressed and fiercely glared at Luo Qingtong. It was all because of this woman. Pfft, ha ha ha. Luo Qingtong was trying hard to hold back her laughter. But now she couldn't hold it in and immediately fell to the ground laughing. Oh my, luckily Bei Qing and Feng Yu weren't here. Otherwise, Yi Qianming's reputation would be ruined. She fell on the grass. Yi Qianming saw her laughing so wildly and immediately gritted his teeth and pounced on her. Let this woman laugh at him. Hey hey hey. Don't, it tickles. Luo Qingtong was tickled by him. The little fox's little teeth were not lethal at all. Luo Qingtong felt itchy as he grinded a piece of meat in his mouth. The two of them fell to the ground, laughing. After a while, Luo Qingtong's eyes. Boom! She sat up abruptly. At the same time, Yi Qianming's figure was also in her arms. Boom boom boom. The moment Luo Qingtong got up, the entire beast garden seemed to shake violently. In the garden where Luo Qingtong was, fences rose up one after another. Quick! Run quickly! The fences in the beast garden are out of control. There was a faint sound of panic coming from outside. However, the light in Luo Qingtong's eyes was extremely cold. Out of control? Whether it was because they had lost control or because some people had done it on purpose, only they themselves would know. Luo Qingtong's eyes were cold and directly flew up with Yi Qianming. Chapter 1890. Swoosh! Luo Qingtong's figure dashed out of the beast garden. However, at this moment, she was in this top-notch beast garden. In midair, the figure of a defensive barrier suddenly appeared, and dazzling light blossomed in all directions. Rumble! As the defense shield of the beast garden appeared in midair, Luo Qingtong's plan to hide outside fell through instantly. Yi Tong! The beast garden is out of control, I'll immediately report to the Valley Master and the rest. The demonic beasts here are precious, we can't afford to lose any of them. Stay here first, we'll come to save you very soon. The voice of the steward came from outside. When Luo Qingtong heard this, a cold glint flashed in her eyes, and she instantly smiled. Interesting, Fang Jingyu and the rest really did a flawless job. The beast garden was out of control, and the demonic beasts here were precious, they couldn't afford to lose any of them, so they locked her up here? If she was a real probationary disciple, even if she didn't die this time, she would be half dead. However, she wasn't. Luo Qingtong's lips curled up slightly, but she wasn't in a hurry to leave. Her actions just now were only to confirm what Fang Jingyu and the rest wanted to do. She didn't really want to escape. She had to put on an act, wasn't that right? Rumble. The deafening sounds all around became more and more intense. Luo Qingtong's gaze swept the surroundings, only to see that after the fences rose, the demonic beasts inside all raised their heads. Pairs of bloodshot and ruthless eyes stared closely at Luo Qingtong's direction. At this moment, Luo Qingtong was the only one left in the entire beast garden. Bang bang bang. Those demonic beasts stepped out of their respective cages. The entire beast garden was filled with the figures of demonic beasts. At this moment, Fang Jingyu received the news from the people in the beast garden, and instantly laughed heartily. Good. Very good. Luo Qingtong was trapped in that top-notch beast garden. Even if she didn't die this time, she would be half dead. She was just waiting to see how unlucky she was to take revenge for being crippled. Fang Jingyu's eyes flashed coldly. And at this moment, in the beast garden, Luo Qingtong also faced these demonic beasts that had stepped out of their cages. Roar! These demonic beasts roared towards the sky and charged towards Luo Qingtong and Yi Qianming. Looking at their figures rushing over, Luo Qingtong's eyes flashed slightly. She released the suppressing aura of the ninefold exquisite pagoda in her mind, suppressing them in place. The aura of the group of powerful demon beasts was violent and wanton, but there was no way for them to approach Luo Qingtong. This was what Luo Qingtong had thought of when she came to the beast garden. He used the aura of the nine-layered exquisite pagoda to suppress these demonic beasts. This way, he wouldn't have to expose his strength and wouldn't put himself in danger. Otherwise, how could she fulfill Fang Jingyu's wish and come to this beast garden? The other party wanted to teach him a lesson, but he had no idea who would be the one to be taught a lesson in the end. Luo Qingtong's expression was indifferent. The aura of the nine-layered exquisite pagoda spread out around her, protecting her and Little Silver, who was transformed into by Yi Qianming. Not to mention that she could only hold on for a short period of time. Even if she stayed here forever, she would still be fine. Rumble. Those demonic beasts couldn't get close to Luo Qingtong, so they immediately wreaked havoc on the plains, fighting against each other. Chapter 1891. Luo Qingtong narrowed her eyes. She remembered that when she saw Han Dong and the others controlling these demon beasts, they were also in the same state. There seemed to be something wrong. Luo Qingtong contracted Little Pig and Snowball, and also helped Suyu contract Thunder Beast. Their contracted beasts were completely different from the contracted beasts of Beast Taming King Valley. He couldn't tell before. But this will, Luo Qingtong frowned. With so many demonic beasts gathered together, she could tell that something was wrong. These demonic beasts seemed to have lost their minds. Was it because they were contracted by the Beast Taming King's Valley? Luo Qingtong thought. The bloody light in her eyes flickered as she observed the bodies of these demonic beasts. Suddenly, she realized that there was a strange power swirling inside the bodies of these demon beasts. This mass of energy extended out from the bodies of these demonic beasts. Previously, when these demonic beasts were not attacking, this power could not be seen. Now that they were in attack mode, this power was immediately revealed. The invisible chains extended from those forces all the way to some unknown place in the void. Was this the reason why the beast tamers of the Beast Tamer King's Valley were able to control these demonic beasts? Luo Qingtong's eyes flashed, and she appeared in front of a demonic beast in a flash. She raised her hand and sent a stream of energy into the demonic beast's body, completely enveloping the energy that appeared. She did not cut off the connection between this energy and the void. If he were to sever the connection, the beast tamer that the demonic beast belonged to would be able to sense it. By then, he would be in deep trouble. Before achieving her goal of entering Beast Taming King's Valley, Luo Qingtong didn't want to act rashly and alert the enemy. Boom! After she wrapped up the ball of energy, the demonic beast's eyes suddenly flashed and became clear again. Roar! It raised its head to the sky and let out a long howl. It looked around in a daze and then became angry. Sure enough, it was like that. Seeing the changes in the demon beast's eyes, Luo Qingtong's eyes flashed. The contract with the Beast Taming King Valley actually caused these demonic beasts to lose their minds? Could it be because of this that they were able to control the demonic beasts? Luo Qingtong was lost in her thoughts when suddenly, an intermittent voice sounded in her mind. You can help us recover our sanity? Luo Qingtong raised her eyebrows and looked around. At this moment, a sharp howl was heard. Then, a huge figure rose from the sky in the distance and swept over here. Boom! It was a huge golden-winged condor. The feathers on his body lit up like sharp golden arrows. It was as if any one of his feathers could cut open the sky. Holy venerable realm. A peak holy venerable demonic beast. Luo Qingtong raised her eyebrows as she looked at the huge eagle that was flying towards her from afar. These Saint Venerables seemed to have the power to resist the beast-taming King Valley's control. She looked at the golden-winged condor's eyes, which were constantly entangled and changing between countless bloody and violent lights. Boom boom boom. One after another, holy venerable realm auras came out from the depths of the garden. Then, the demonic beasts rushed out from within. Chapter 1892. Looking at their figures flying over, Luo Qingtong realized that these holy venerables demonic beasts did not participate in the raging and fighting of the demonic beasts below. Did they all retain a trace of intelligence in their eyes? Boom! The golden-winged eagle landed in front of Luo Qingtong and retracted its feathers. The demons behind it also landed in front of Luo Qingtong and surrounded her. Seeing this scene, Yi Qianming, who was in Luo Qingtong's arms, had a glint in his eyes and a vicious aura surged out. The demonic beast's aura surged out violently and wreaked havoc in the surroundings. Luo Qingtong could not help but take 2 steps back. These holy venerables demonic beasts were simply too powerful. With so many of them gathered together, Luo Qingtong felt that it was hard to breathe. If not for the suppressive aura of the 9-story exquisite pagoda surrounding her, the demonic beast's aura would have been enough to knock her down. She frowned at these demonic beasts. Suddenly, sensing the aura in her arms, Luo Qingtong lowered her eyes and saw Yi Qianming's cold expression. Raising her brows, Luo Qingtong stretched her hand forward. The aura in Yi Qianxian's body condensed. In an instant, a faintly discernible figure condensed behind the silver fox. He was about to return to his human form. Boom! After a flash of silver light, Luo Qingtong was firmly held in Yi Qianming's arms. The man casually draped a robe over his body. His aura was lazy and cold, domineering and tyrannical. Get lost! As he shouted coldly, Yi Zichen shouted. The holy venerables demonic beasts surrounding Luo Qingtong were all forced back by the sound wave attack. The tyrannical pressure that enveloped Luo Qingtong disappeared in an instant. Yi Qianming's eyes were cold. His aura rumbled and suppressed these demonic beasts. This time, the demonic beasts retreated a few more steps. Just like how Luo Qingtong was oppressed by their aura before. Sir! The voice that had previously sounded in Luo Qingtong's mind rang out again. We have no ill intentions, please forgive us for our earlier recklessness. When the voice rang in Luo Qingtong and Yi Qianming's minds, the golden-winged eagle took a step forward and lowered its head slightly to express its apology. When the golden-winged great eagle saw Yi Qianming, an extremely surprised look flashed across its eyes. At this moment, it was under immense pressure from Yi Qianming to apologize to Luo Qingtong. Previously, they hadn't expected that the aura around them would be so strong that it would oppress Luo Qingtong. After all, the weakest demonic beast here was at the Saint Emperor realm. When it saw Luo Qingtong restore the consciousness of the previous monstrous beast, it thought that her strength should be similar to theirs. It didn't expect that the other party was just a little girl at the Saint Lord realm. Luo Qingtong's expression was indifferent. She didn't stop Yi Qianming because of the golden-winged great eagle's words. This man was venting his anger for her. She wouldn't interfere. And who knew if the golden-winged great eagle was telling the truth? If Yi Qianming hadn't come out, it was unknown if the other party would have apologized. Boom! After a few breaths, Yi Qianming retracted his aura. And the group of holy venerables demonic beasts were all pushed 100 meters away by him. Just stand there and talk. Yi Qianming's eyes were cold. Chapter 1893. Yes. The golden-winged condor and the rest of the monsters nodded. Yi Qianming's strength was fully displayed in the aura just now. He could completely crush them. They had no choice but to treat him with respect. Yi Qianming glanced at them coldly and didn't say anything. His figure disappeared in mid-air again and turned into the silver fox, jumping into Luo Qingtong's arms. The people from Beast Taming King Valley could come at any time, so his original form was inconvenient. Yi Qianming was half lying in Luo Qingtong's arms, looking very cute. But after seeing how powerful the other party was, the group of Saint Venerable monsters didn't dare to underestimate her. Even towards Luo Qingtong, they were respectful. Honorable One. The golden-winged condor looked at Luo Qingtong and nodded. Seeing that it was struggling to speak, Luo Qingtong directly said to it, "Release your defense." As she spoke, she released her aura. The golden-winged condor saw the aura released by Luo Qingtong and its eyes flashed. It immediately released its defense. The light entered its body and wrapped the aura of the beast-taming art in its body. In an instant, the golden-winged condor's eyes became clear. It looked at Luo Qingtong with surprise. "Thank you, Honorable One. I didn't expect you to be able to help us regain our consciousness." After the golden-winged condor, the group of Saint Venerable monsters were also very excited. They were controlled by Beast Taming King Valley and their consciousness had always been muddled. But ever since they advanced to Saint Venerable realm, they didn't want to be controlled anymore. Their figures surged, wanting to rush towards Luo Qingtong. But when they saw the silver fox in Luo Qingtong's arms, their surging aura and figures stopped again. They hesitated and didn't dare to move forward. They looked at Luo Qingtong with eager eyes, giving her a lot of pressure. "I didn't break the connection of the contract. I just temporarily blocked the influence of the contract on you. When my power is exhausted, you will still be controlled by the contract," she said to the group of monsters. When the latter and the others heard this, they were instantly disappointed. "Can you help us get rid of the contract?" The golden-winged condor said in a deep voice. "No." Luo Qingtong shook her head. Her strength was still not enough. Even if she used the heaven and earth contract, it would be impossible for her to contract so many demonic beasts. The only possibility was the 9-layered exquisite pagoda. However, if being in the 9-story exquisite pagoda was enough to cut off the contract, and it would be restored after coming out, then what was the point? Luo Qingtong's words caused all the demonic beasts present to be stunned. "Forget it." The golden-winged condor smiled bitterly. "Anyway, it's been so many years. It's good enough that I can get a moment of clarity." Its words caused all the demonic beasts present to feel a burst of sorrow. After the golden-winged condor finished speaking, it immediately looked at Luo Qingtong and asked, "Why have you appeared in this beast garden? Ordinary disciples aren't willing to come here, but when the high-level disciples come, the unlucky ones are all killed by us. Did you offend someone to be brought here?" "Yes. I crippled Fang Jingyu's spiritual power." Luo Qingtong's expression was indifferent. To be precise, he crippled it. As she spoke, she raised her hand and pointed at Yi Qianming in her arms. Hearing this, the golden-winged condor was stunned and then laughed. Chapter 1894. It turned out that this golden-winged condor was the contracted beast of the beast tamer King Guguju. No wonder it was the strongest one here. All the demon beasts in the Holy Venerate realm looked up to it. At this moment, when it heard Luo Qingtong's words, it was very happy. Although it couldn't break the contract, it was already very good to be able to hear such satisfying news. That's not right. The golden-winged condor smiled and suddenly thought of something. You crippled Fang Jingyu's mental strength, but the father and daughter didn't kill you? It was a little surprised. The condor's expression was very strange. With the Fang father and daughter's vengeful nature, how could Luo Qingtong only be sent to the beast garden after crippling Fang Jingyu's mental strength? And this clearly wasn't Yi Qianming's credit. Because if he did it, how could the Fang father and daughter still dare to punish Luo Qingtong? And the change just now, the fences that imprisoned them were all raised. It was obvious that someone deliberately did it to deal with Luo Qingtong. If they knew of Yi Qianming's existence, how could they still dare to do it? The golden-winged condor thought and looked at Luo Qingtong in surprise. The latter smiled, because they thought he was my contracted beast. She glanced at the silver fox in her arms as she said this. The golden-winged condor felt strange when it heard this. The Fang father and daughter were really looking for trouble. They actually thought this was their contracted beast? No wonder Fang Jingyu's mental strength was crippled. The golden-winged condor had already guessed the reason. The other party probably wanted to forcefully snatch the contract with Yi Qianming? And Fang Cheng thought that Luo Qingtong's beast-taming art was very advanced. This golden-winged condor had already cultivated to the point where it was old and experienced. At its strength and realm, although it couldn't transform, its thoughts were no different from a human's. With that thought in mind, it muttered, "Serves him right." No wonder the father and daughter didn't touch Luo Qingtong. So it was because of this. When the golden-winged condor spoke, Luo Qingtong just smiled. Suddenly, she thought of something and said to the golden-winged condor, "Senior, you are the contracted beast of the beast-tamer King Gu Guzhu. I want you to help me ask the contracted beasts around here. Did the beast-taming King's Valley hunt down someone called Luo Jinghong more than 10 years ago?" Luo Jinghong? Never heard of it. Hearing this, the golden-winged condor asked the beasts in beast language. Seeing that they all shook their heads, it immediately said to Luo Qingtong. "Oh." Luo Qingtong looked slightly disappointed, but she didn't say anything. It's very likely that Luo Jinghong didn't specifically mention your name when he was being hunted back then. It's also possible that the golden-winged Great Roc and the others didn't notice it back then. After all, their minds had been controlled at that time, and during the battle, they had lost their minds the most. She thought for a moment before asking, "Do you know where the beast-taming King Valley has a book that records all the major events and secrets over the years?" "I know." The golden-winged condor nodded. It was the contracted beast of the beast-tamer King Gu Guzhu, and that book was kept and safeguarded by the beast-tamer King Gu Guzhu. Really? Luo Qingtong looked at it in surprise. She didn't expect that Fang Jingyu would help her this time. This golden-winged condor knew the location of the book, so she didn't have to slowly inquire about it. It saved her a lot of trouble. To be honest, she was also very tired of Fang Jingyu and the group of people in the beast-taming King's Valley. Chapter 1895. "Senior, please tell me." Luo Qingtong says. "Okay, that's no problem." The golden-winged eagle nods. Everyone who has a grudge against the beast-taming King Valley is their friend. Not to mention that Luo Qingtong can also restore their consciousness. Although it's only temporary, it's already very good for them who have been muddle-headed for a lifetime. It then told him the location of the booklet. The booklet is in the Hidden Scriptures Pavilion in the back of the beast-taming King Valley. It's in a secret compartment on the 13th floor on the top floor. The golden-winged eagle tells the specific location of the booklet and how to hide it. When you get there, you must not open the secret compartment first, but knock on the side. This way, the Hidden Scriptures Pavilion's reaction to the booklet will completely disappear. Otherwise, once you open the booklet, even if you don't take it out, Fang Cheng and the others will be able to sense it. At that time, you will be discovered. It carefully warns Luo Qingtong. This involves a very small trick. Without a mechanism, ordinary people won't be able to discover it. The golden-winged eagle knows this because it's with the beast-taming King Guguju. If it's someone else, even if they find the booklet, they will be discovered before they can open it. And there's a very small restriction on the booklet. If you don't follow the fixed procedure, then the booklet will automatically burn the moment it's taken out or opened. At that time, the person who stole the booklet won't be able to get anything, let alone peek at the secrets inside. Okay. Thank you, Senior. Luo Qingtong smiles and thanks. Fang Jingyu has helped her a lot this time. In order to repay her, Luo Qingtong feels that she should also give her a good surprise. As for these demon beasts, Senior, don't worry. I heard that the booklet also records a lot of secrets of the beast-taming King Valley, including the beast-taming arts. I will seriously study it. If I find something, I will definitely help you break the contract. Luo Qingtong says to the golden-winged eagle. Good. Thank you, Your Excellency. The golden-winged condor said to Luo Qingtong happily. If someone else had told it that, it definitely wouldn't have believed them. However, Luo Qingtong had temporarily restored their consciousness before. It trusted Luo Qingtong's words very much. As the man and beast spoke up to this point, there was suddenly a commotion outside the beast garden. It's Fang Cheng and the others. The golden-winged condor sensed for a moment, then said with a cold face. Luo Qingtong raised her eyebrows. Beast Tamer King Guguju and the others are here? Fang Jingyu should be here too, right? Luo Qingtong knew that Beast Tamer King Guguju and the others were reluctant to let her die. At the very least, he wouldn't be willing to do so before he obtained the so-called beast-taming incantation. Therefore, after delaying for a while to let himself be taught a lesson, he rushed over. As for Fang Jingyu, she had single-handedly planned all of this. They would definitely come to watch the show and see how miserable he was. Luo Qingtong's eyes turned slightly, and she quickly had an idea. Senior, do you want to teach Beast Tamer King Guguju and the others a lesson? The golden-winged condor's eyes suddenly lit up. Of course. You have a way? Its eyes lit up as it looked at Luo Qingtong. If the girl had a way, that would be great. They dreamed of killing the group of people from the beast-taming King Valley. Chapter 1896. Wait. When the golden-winged eagle thought of this, its eyes suddenly lit up. Didn't Luo Qingtong temporarily shield them from the restrictions of the contract? Could it be? Sure enough, just as it was thinking, Luo Qingtong smiled and spoke. Senior, have you forgotten that I can shield you from the effects of the contract? If you do this, Luo Qingtong whispered her plan into the golden-winged eagle's ear. The latter flapped its wings excitedly. Good, good, good. We'll do as you say. But, won't this implicate you? It looked at Luo Qingtong and asked. It's fine. This is what I need you to do. It won't implicate you. And, it'll be a great help to me. Luo Qingtong looked at it and smiled. Good, good, good. Since Luo Qingtong said so. The golden-winged eagle naturally wouldn't say anything else. Thinking of what would happen next, it rubbed its fists and palms. Then let's quickly start now. It couldn't wait to say. The beast tamer King Guguju and the others were outside. If they missed this opportunity, there might not be a second one. Okay. Luo Qingtong smiled. She waved her hands, and waves of energy shot out, entering the bodies of the group of holy venerables in front of her. The beasts already knew what to do next from the golden-winged eagle's explanation in beast language. The beasts were all very excited. This was something they had dreamed of doing. They let go of their defenses, allowing Luo Qingtong's energy to enter their bodies. However, in an instant, the effects of the contract in their bodies were blocked by Luo Qingtong. The group of Saint Venerable Realm demonic beasts had completely regained their consciousness. The young girl smiled and said, "Then everyone, get ready. The show was about to start." Swoosh! In the sky, the beast tamer King Gu Guzhu and the others quickly flew across the sky. Fang Jingyu followed behind them, her face full of reluctance. The beast tamer King Gu Guzhu and the others came too quickly. In Fang Jingyu's opinion, it would be better if he came later. It would be best if Luo Qingtong was already dead by the time they arrived. However, if they went over now, Luo Qingtong would most likely die. After all, she had secretly ordered people to remove the fences around the Holy Venerate Realm demonic beasts. At that time, he would just say that it was a mistake. Fang Jingyu sneered. She wasn't so stupid as to leave a scourge like Luo Qingtong alive. What if the other party grew stronger and couldn't be eliminated? Her spiritual power had already been crippled. No matter how powerful the beast-taming art was, what did it have to do with her? On the contrary, Luo Qingtong's death was in her best interest. Without the other party, he wouldn't have to worry about being oppressed by his enemy in the future and having to look at the other party's face every day. Thinking of this, Fang Jingyu's face was full of pride as she entered the beast garden with beast tamer King Gu Guzhu and the others. The beast garden's defensive barrier had already been activated. Beast tamer King Gu Guzhu and the others quickly rushed to the top-grade garden. As soon as they entered, they were shocked by the scene inside. Luo Qingtong was surrounded by a group of demonic beasts. Among them, there were many holy venerables. But the strange thing was, these demonic beasts didn't hurt her. They only looked at her with dazed expressions. The blood-red light in their eyes was still fierce, but they didn't rush forward to bite Luo Qingtong. It was as if they were being controlled by something. The beast tamer King Valley's higher-ups were shocked. Chapter 1897. There was nothing wrong with the contract, but these demonic beasts strangely didn't attack. Everyone was a little confused. Their contracts weren't forcibly taken away, so why did Luo Qingtong seem to be able to control their contract beasts? Hundreds of thoughts ran through their minds. But the beast tamer King Gu Guzhu and Grand Elder were pleasantly surprised. They looked at each other. Luo Qingtong's beast tamer art was probably more powerful than they imagined. Among these demonic beasts, their own demonic beasts were among them. Luo Qingtong could even control their contract beasts from a distance, which showed how powerful her beast tamer art was. While everyone was pleasantly surprised and bewildered, Fang Jingyu, who had just arrived, suddenly opened her eyes wide. She thought that even if she couldn't see the scene of Luo Qingtong dying without a burial ground, she should at least see her miserable and painful appearance. But she didn't expect to see Luo Qingtong unscathed. She suddenly opened her eyes wide, and almost instantly, she screamed. How is this possible? And when Fang Jingyu's voice sounded, the stalemate between Luo Qingtong and those demonic beasts seemed to have been broken by her scream. Valley Master, turning around and seeing the figures of the beast tamer King Gu Guzhu and the others, Luo Qingtong only had time to call out this one sentence, and then fell down with a pale face. Night Eye. The beast tamer King Gu Guzhu and the others hurriedly flew over to catch her, and at the same time used their contracts to control the contract beasts that were about to attack. None of them noticed it. The group of contract beasts behind them all had their eyes flickering, and surrounded them with incomparable coldness. Their encirclement firmly trapped the beast tamer King Gu Guzhu and the others. And the beast tamer King Gu Guzhu and the others were anxiously treating Luo Qingtong. It's just that her spiritual power was exhausted and she fainted. An elder of the beast taming King Valley said. Valley Master, did you see that? Luo Qingtong can actually control our contract beasts. The elder from the beast taming King Valley said excitedly. Her beast tamer art must be very advanced. And she must have just had a breakthrough. Valley Master, we can't miss this opportunity. Of course. Let's take her first. Let's go back together. However, the beast tamer King Guguju just say that, roar. Behind them, violent beasts roar. Then, the group of wholly exalted monstrous beasts soared into the sky and charged toward them. Oh no! Everyone zzzzzzzzzzzzz. But their minds zzzzzzz, no matter how hard they tried SSSSSS and S's SSD charge, SSS, SSS, S to T, the of the TTT. They're still under Night Eye's control. He didn't know that the Paragon Realm demonic beasts were acting like this because Luo Qingtong had temporarily shielded them from the effects of the contract. He thought that Luo Qingtong's potential had erupted at the critical moment of life and death and had controlled them. Now that she had fainted, these demonic beasts had lost control. Of course, it was also possible that her previous control had cancelled out their contractual control over these demonic beasts. In short, these contract beasts no longer listened to them. Chapter 1898. Hearing his words, the expressions of the Beast Tamer Valley's upper echelons turned ugly. If that was really the case, then they were in big trouble. The demonic beasts they contracted were not inferior to them in terms of strength. Roar! Just as they were thinking this, the golden-winged condor and the rest of the demonic beasts charged into their midst. Ah! The golden-winged condor raised its wings, and the sharp golden feathers on its wings sliced through the arm of a Beast Tamer Valley elder in front of it. His entire arm was sliced off in an instant. Blood spurted out. That Beast Tamer Valley elder screamed in agony and hurriedly clutched his wound. Around him, a bunch of screams sounded one after another. Quick! Run! Compared to the group of Paragon demonic beasts who did whatever they wanted, Beast Tamer King Guguju and the rest were restrained and did not dare to attack. Not because of anything else, but because these were their contracted beasts. It was just a momentary accident that caused them to lose control temporarily. If he really killed them, he would have killed them. What would they do in the future? Recontract demonic beasts? That would not be as convenient as the original ones. Hence, they could only dodge pathetically. As they dodged and attacked, they did not dare to be ruthless. In this way, the group of Paragon demonic beasts fought without restraint. That was so happy. So satisfying. Fang Jingyu, who was watching from the side, was stunned. She turned around and wanted to run, but before she could run to the entrance of the garden, there was a series of crackling sounds. The protective barrier that enveloped the skies of this top-grade beast park suddenly began to tremble violently after this series of explosions. And then, it stopped moving. That's right, it stopped moving. No matter how Fang Jingyu made a hand seal, this top-grade beast garden's protective barrier stopped moving. Beast Tamer King Guguju and the rest were in a sorry state as they withstood the attacks of the group of Paragon demonic beasts. Their injuries were not light, and they were preparing to retreat. However, before they could move, they heard that series of explosions. They turned around abruptly and saw Fang Jingyu standing at the entrance like a fool. Fang Jingyu. Everyone's faces were filled with rage. Anyone could see that there was a problem with the protective barrier of this top-grade beast garden. They would be trapped here for the rest of their lives. I don't know. Fang Jingyu's body trembled like a candle flame in the wind. She was trembling with all her might. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. She tried her best to explain. However, no one listened. Who else could it be? She was the only one who had rushed over, but it was at that moment that the protective shield malfunctioned. Everyone felt that she would not set herself. If she did this, she must have been prepared in advance, but she didn't expect this unforeseen event to happen and accidentally made a mistake while escaping. Could it be that when she left earlier, she wanted to lock them behind to block the arrows for her and made a mistake? Either way, she touched the protective barrier, protection. And everyone was so angry that their lungs were about to explode, If she hadn't set up this trap to deal with Night Eye, she wouldn't have been able to do so. They would not have been trapped here, and they would not have been surrounded by their own contracted beasts. The only thing she did was to let them discover the power of Luo Qingtong's beast tamer art. When we return, I will request that Fang Jingyu be stripped of all her status and privileges in Beast Tamer King Valley. Chapter 1899. His voice was so loud it sounded like it was about to crack. Seconded. 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 A series of voices rang out. In an instant, Fang Jingyu's face turned ashen. At this moment, a group of demonic beasts that had retreated because of the paragon-level demonic beasts pounced on her. Ah! A shrill scream rang out. The beast tamer King Gu Guju and the others could barely take care of themselves, so they had no time to help her. What they faced now was a group of paragon-level demonic beasts that were pouncing on them again. Roar! By the time the beast tamer King Gu Guju and the others had taken control of the group of paragon-level demonic beasts, they were all injured. 2 elders were seriously injured and almost lost their lives. The beast tamer King Gu Guju was furious. However, he could not blame anyone. Because it was he who allowed Fang Jingyu to attack Luo Qingtong, which caused this to happen. Fortunately, Luo Qingtong displayed a unique talent during this process, which offset his mistake this time. Otherwise, the injured higher-ups of the Beast Tamer King Valley would have exploded. Fang Jingyu was even more miserable. She was lucky enough to survive the attack of a group of demonic beasts, but her face was already disfigured and half-crippled. All her status and privileges in the Beast Tamer King Valley had been revoked. The only reason she was not expelled from the Beast Tamer King Valley was because she was the daughter of the Valley Master. Even so, Fang Jingyu's days in the Beast Tamer King Valley were no different from being expelled. She acted willfully against Luo Qingtong and almost killed the higher-ups of the Beast Tamer King Valley. Under such circumstances, even the Beast Tamer King Gu Guju was bitterly disappointed in her. Because the paragon-level demonic beasts were secretly released by Fang Jingyu. Because of this, he was almost impeached. Fortunately, the 2 elders who were seriously injured did not die. Otherwise, he would be the first Valley Master in the history of the Beast Tamer King Valley to be impeached. He would never be able to raise his head again in this lifetime. Not to mention, Fang Jingyu almost killed him. The Beast Tamer King Gu Guju also ignored her. It could be said that Fang Jingyu had no one to rely on. The only person who didn't suffer any losses was Luo Qingtong. The girl's talent exploded in the Beast Garden. Although this incident could be considered to be caused by her. However, she was also a victim who was framed. Moreover, after her cultivation technique erupted, it was coveted by everyone. How could the upper echelons of the Beast Taming King Valley blame her? He couldn't wait to take care of her like a treasure. Fang Jingyu's previous worry that Luo Qingtong would replace her position had come true. However, she probably didn't expect that this was all her doing. If it weren't for her continuous coercion and framing, Luo Qingtong wouldn't have found the whereabouts of the book so quickly, and she wouldn't have joined forces with the demonic beasts of the Beast Garden to completely destroy her. At this time, Luo Qingtong was thinking about how to get close to the scripture pavilion. After returning from the Beast Garden, Luo Qingtong began to inquire about the Sutra Depository. Later, he learned that it was a secret place within a secret place. Ordinary elders didn't have the qualifications to enter it. Only the upper echelons like the Beast Tamer King Gu Guju and the Grand Elder, and people with extremely high statuses and great contributions to the Beast Tamer King Valley, could enter it. Because the Real foundation of the Beast Tamer King Valley was inside. It was said that the original version of the Beast Tamer King Valley's cultivation technique was placed inside. There was also a pile of ancient books of the Beast Tamer King Valley. The golden-winged condor said that the book was among them, so it should be true. Chapter 1900. Luo Qingtong narrowed her eyes. At this time, the voices of Beast Tamer King Gu Guzhu and the others sounded from outside. "Little Tong, are you feeling better?" Beast Tamer King Gu Guzhu and the Grand Elders behind him stepped into Luo Qingtong's courtyard. Hearing Beast Tamer King Gu Guzhu say, "Little Tong," Luo Qingtong felt a chill in her heart. The corners of her lips twitched violently. Ever since her so-called talent was exposed in the Beast Garden, Beast Tamer King Gu Guzhu and the others tried to get closer to her whenever they had time. Luo Qingtong couldn't be bothered to ridicule them. In any case, this was exactly what she needed. If it wasn't for this, she wouldn't have been able to find out about the scripture pavilion. But now, it was time to think about how to get in. Luo Qingtong's fingers tapped lightly as she pondered. On the surface, she smiled at Beast Tamer King Gu Guzhu and the others, Valley Master, Grand Elders, she called them one by one. Luo Qingtong's mouth was sweet, and she was playing the role of an innocent and cute girl. It was simply too easy for her to curry favor with the higher-ups of Beast Tamer King Valley. At this time, the higher-ups of Beast Tamer King Valley practically treated her as one of their own. Everyone smiled in response. Soon after, Beast Tamer King Gu Guzhu looked at Luo Qingtong and said, "How is it? After resting for so many days, are you feeling better? Can you remember some of the things that happened in the Beast Garden?" Ever since Luo Qingtong was able to control their contracted beasts in the Beast Garden, Beast Tamer King Gu Guzhu and the others would come to ask about it almost every day. They wanted Luo Qingtong to recall how she used the beast taming art at that time. However, Luo Qingtong's talent and whatnot were all made up. She only knew one beast taming art, and that was the heaven and earth contract that was specially used for divine beasts. Even if he taught it to Beast Tamer King Gu Guzhu and the others, they wouldn't be able to use it. How could Luo Qingtong tell them the truth? Naturally, he would say, "I don't have any memory of it. I can't recall it yet." Luo Qingtong didn't intend to delay for long. Once she got the book, there would be no problem. However, entering the scripture depository was a problem. Luo Qingtong's eyes turned slightly. Soon, she had a good idea. She would let the Beast Tamer King Gu Guzhu and the others bring her into the scripture pavilion. "I have some ideas now." Luo Qingtong nodded. The upper echelons of the Beast Taming King's Valley were already prepared to return empty-handed. After all, it had been like this the previous few times. Therefore, when Luo Qingtong said that, the Beast Tamer King Gu Guzhu subconsciously said, "It's okay, next time." "What?" He looked at Luo Qingtong in surprise. He couldn't believe his ears. "Little Tong, you have an idea? You have an impression?" "Yes." Luo Qingtong chuckled. Her smile was innocent and romantic. "When I was dreaming last night, I suddenly thought of something." Luo Qingtong casually found a reason. But only one thing. As she spoke, she directly operated the qi circulation in her body. Luo Qingtong's qi circulation was naturally based on the beast taming art practiced by the Beast Tamer King Gu Guzhu and the others. Luo Qingtong's eye technique could see through the qi circulation in their bodies. Previously, she had obtained Han Dong's secret cultivation book. So, it was easy for her to find the common point of their qi circulation. Luo Qingtong was letting her qi circulate according to the common point. She deliberately revealed her aura. Chapter 1901. This aura circulation, it was very similar to what they were cultivating. Could it be that the beast taming spell that Luo Qingtong cultivated came from the same source as the one that they cultivated? The group of beast-taming King Valley's higher-ups were even more pleasantly surprised as they thought about it. If that was the case, that would be great. Just when they were unable to contain their joy, the aura that Luo Qingtong was displaying suddenly stopped. That's it, Luo Qingtong's expression was bashful. I can't remember what happened next. As she said this, beast-taming King Gu Guju immediately got up and said, "Look at the aura circulation that I'm cultivating and see if there are any hints." If Luo Qingtong was cultivating the same cultivation method as them, then she would definitely have a sense of familiarity. As beast-taming King Gu Guju spoke, he immediately displayed his aura circulation. Of course, he displayed it more obscurely. One could roughly see the circulation route. But the specific circulation route of the cultivation method, those who didn't cultivate the same cultivation method as him wouldn't know and wouldn't be able to see it. However, when he was halfway through, Luo Qingtong suddenly called out to him and pointed in the direction of his next circulation route. "I have a bit of an impression. Is this the way to go from here?" As she said this, beast-taming King Gu Guju laughed in surprise. "Ha ha ha. Yes, yes, yes," he said repeatedly. It was really too surprising. It seemed that the beast-taming art that Luo Qingtong was cultivating was of the same origin as their beast-taming King Valley's cultivation method. The route that she had just mentioned should be the circulation route of her cultivation method. After all, the cultivation methods of the same origin would overlap with each other. Thinking this, beast-taming King Gu Guju's laughter became even more hearty. "Good, good, good. It's really too good." Beast-taming King Gu Guju had already imagined a big play in his mind. The beast-taming art that Luo Qingtong was cultivating should have been obtained from that place. After that, he was discovered and hunted down. The reason why they were saved by the beast-taming King's Valley was probably because of the beast-taming King's Valley. You want to seek refuge? Who would have thought that they would be robbed and killed before they could even reach their destination? On the other hand, Luo Qingtong was too naive. She didn't know anything, so this series of things happened. It had to be said that a person's imagination was huge. In an instant, the beast-tamer King Gu Guju had already rationalized everything. However, Luo Qingtong was at a loss after she pointed out his circuit. Beast-tamer King Gu Guju and the others frowned when they saw this. At this time, Luo Qingtong said, "Sigh, if only I could recall the scene when I saw this cultivation method. Or there are similar things and scenes to learn from. If that's the case, I might be able to recall." As she spoke, she frowned in distress. Hearing her words, beast-tamer King Gu Guju and the others felt their hearts skip a beat. Similar cultivation methods and scenes. Doesn't that mean we do have similar cultivation methods? Beast-tamer King Gu Guju said after some consideration. What he was talking about was naturally the original version of the cultivation method in the scripture depository. If Luo Qingtong was able to recall the beast-taming art that she cultivated from it, it would be a joyous occasion for them. Thinking about this, beast-tamer King Gu Guju considered again and again. In the end, he decided to bring Luo Qingtong to the scripture depository. Chapter 1902. It's here. Luo Qingtong's eyes lit up, knowing that her plan had succeeded. The place that beast-tamer King Gu Guju wanted to bring her to was the scripture pavilion. As long as she could enter, she would have a way to get the book. At that time, she would know whether the person who was chased by beast-tamer King Valley was Luo Jinghong or not. Beast-tamer King Gu Guju did as he said. The next day, he brought Luo Qingtong to the scripture pavilion. It was reasonable to say that Luo Qingtong shouldn't go to that place. But beast-tamer King Gu Guju wanted to get the beast-tamer art that Luo Qingtong cultivated. What happened in the beast garden shocked everyone in beast-tamer King Valley. In the history of beast-tamer King Valley, there had never been such a large-scale demonic beast backlash. If it wasn't for the fact that this backlash was only temporary and was caused by Luo Qingtong's potential, Beast Tamer King Gu Guzhu and the others' first reaction would be to kill Luo Qingtong. They would rather not have that powerful Beast Tamer art. Because the damage that Luo Qingtong could cause was devastating. Beast Tamer King Valley was famous for their Beast Tamer art. In the hidden world, they were tyrannical and no one dared to provoke them. They were even vaguely above the other first-rate sects because they could tame beasts. A beast tamer with a tyrannical demonic beast could completely suppress any cultivator of the same level. Basically, no one could defeat them. Not to mention that if a beast tamer was strong enough, fighting and killing enemies above their level was a common occurrence. Beast Tamer King Valley with a demonic beast army was equivalent to 2 or more first-rate sects. Who would dare to provoke them? But without their beast tamer art, they were no different from the other first-rate sects. They were even much weaker. There was no other reason for this. It was because the other first-rate sects had their own unique techniques. Beast Tamer King Valley had nothing but beast tamer art. Therefore, beast tamer art was the foundation of Beast Tamer King Valley and could not be shaken. If Luo Qingtong could control their demonic beasts, how terrifying would that be? They could destroy their beast-taming King Valley in a matter of minutes. But at the same time, if they could grasp this beast-taming technique, it would definitely increase their strength greatly. His control over demonic beasts and his strength had increased even more. In the future, the strength of the beast-taming King's Valley would definitely soar. Therefore, when the group of people heard that Luo Qingtong could vaguely recall cultivating the beast-taming art, they immediately hurriedly brought her to the scripture pavilion. Just so that she could remember more things. While Beast Tamer King Gu Guzhu and the others were taking Luo Qingtong to the scripture pavilion, inside the scripture pavilion, a black-clothed old man with a biting cold aura was looking down at the person kneeling on the ground in front of him. You mean there's something wrong with that night eye? As his voice rang out, the person kneeling on the ground instantly raised her head. It was the half-disfigured Fang Jingyu. That's right. She shouted with a hoarse voice. Elder Dark, you must believe my words. Right now, my father and the rest have all been bewitched by that slut. Everyone is supporting her. But she's actually a wolf in sheep's clothing. Fang Jingyu's body was faintly trembling from hatred. After returning from the beast garden, her status had fallen to the bottom of the valley. Her once limitless glory had turned into a trample on by everyone. Chapter 1903. She used to be so arrogant, despotic, and dazzling. Now, she was so petty and miserable. Those people who had been punished and humiliated by her because of a small mistake were all here to hit her when she was down. Fang Jingyu wanted to ask the beast tamer King Gu Guzhu for help, but the latter had almost died because of her, and because of her, he had almost offended the entire Beast Tamer Valley's higher-ups. In addition, Luo Qingtong had the Beast Tamer art in her body, so how could they still care about her? Fang Jingyu had been living in hell for a few days before she realized that she had been completely abandoned. All the doting from before was fake. The moment she encountered something that would benefit her, she was abandoned without hesitation. Fang Jingyu's heart was filled with hatred. At the same time, she didn't know why she had ended up like this. Clearly, before she punished Luo Qingtong to the Beast Garden, she had made full preparations. The other party would definitely be miserable in the Beast Garden, and even if she didn't die, she would lose a layer of skin. But Fang Jingyu had never thought that the one who would end up in such a miserable state would be herself. Luo Qingtong's potential had suddenly exploded in the Beast Garden, and she had controlled a group of Paragon-level demonic beasts. She was unharmed, but Fang Jingyu was in big trouble. Fang Jingyu saw the disgusting scene of her through the reflection of the golden bricks on the floor. Half of her face was rotten. The demonic beasts had gnawed on it until even her bones could be seen. Her entire face was full of holes, and even half of her scalp had been torn off. She wasn't a ghost now, but she was scarier than a ghost. Her hand was also crippled, and half of it had been eaten by the demonic beasts. If not for this, she wouldn't have been abandoned by the beast-tamer King Guguju so easily. After all, she had lost her spiritual power and strength in the past, and she could still marry him. But what did she have now? She was just a half-disfigured good-for-nothing. But how could things be so coincidental? That slut kept saying that she didn't know that she was a beast-tamer, and didn't know what kind of art she was cultivating. But she was able to control a group of paragon-level demonic beasts in the Beast Garden? And those demonic beasts just happened to counterattack at that time, and she just happened to faint? Fang Jingyu couldn't believe that this was just a coincidence. She only felt that this was all Luo Qingtong's scheme. Not only that, even the withering of the superior Sirius and the punishment of the young girl called Yun Yen probably had something to do with Luo Qingtong. The other party had deliberately infiltrated their beast-taming king's valley. She might not even be a beast-tamer, but an enemy of their beast-taming king valley. Everything was a facade that she had purposely created. Relying on her strong hatred and imagination, Fang Jingyu actually guessed half of Luo Qingtong's matter correctly. She had come all the way here to expose him. Eldarin, I have asked Yun Yen. She said she didn't know Night Eye at all. The other party had only met them once in Tianfeng City. At that time, the city was recruiting disciples, but she didn't participate at all. After that, I'll pretend to be chased into the beast-taming king valley. I suspect that she's not a beast-tamer at all. Instead, he has evil intentions and intentionally infiltrated our beast-taming king's valley to attack us. Fang Jingyu's voice was sharp. She half knelt on the ground and raised her head to look at the Eldarin, her face twisted like a ghost. Chapter 1904. This team was dedicated to guarding the Hidden Scriptures Pavilion. They never appeared in front of others, but their strength was exceptionally terrifying. Their strength was comparable to the higher-ups of the beast-taming valley. And this Dark Elder's strength and status was not below that of the beast-taming King Guguju. This was why Fang Jingyu found him and wanted him to attack Luo Qingtong. In this way, even her father, the beast-taming King Guguju, could not say anything. However, this Dark Elder's expression was indifferent. His team was only responsible for guarding the Hidden Scriptures Pavilion. Before others touched the Hidden Scriptures Pavilion or when the beast-taming valley was facing a life-and-death situation, they would not intervene. You can go back. This matter has nothing to do with us. He said and was about to leave. Elder, Fang Jingyu's voice was sharp and her entire face was distorted. She tried her best to stop the other party. At this moment, a dark disciple suddenly came in to report. Elder, the Valley Master brought a young girl to request to enter the Hidden Scriptures Pavilion to observe the original beast-taming art. The moment this dark disciple spoke, Fang Jingyu's face was instantly filled with surprise. Elder. Look. I told you she was up to no good. Now she has her eyes on the Hidden Scriptures Pavilion. Elder, do you believe me now? The moment Fang Jingyu's words left her mouth, the Dark Elder's face turned cold. Invite her in. He said coldly. Outside, Luo Qingtong stood outside the Hidden Scriptures Pavilion with the beast-taming King Guguju and the others. In her arms was Yi Qianming, who had transformed into Little Silver. The latter's eyes circled around the Hidden Scriptures Pavilion and then transmitted his voice to Luo Qingtong. There are many strong people nearby and they are not weaker than the beast-taming King Guguju and the others. Luo Qingtong nodded. Her blood-red eyes flashed slightly, and the images hidden in the surroundings that ordinary people could not see appeared in her eyes. They should be the guards of the Scripture Depository. The Scripture Depository was the most important foundation of the beast-taming King Valley, so it was normal for someone to guard it. Therefore, Luo Qingtong didn't want to force her way in. Instead, she prepared to enter through tricks. She wanted nothing to go wrong, so it didn't matter if she had to put in more effort. In any case, he had already spent the past few days in the beast-taming King Valley. He didn't care about a little more time. Just as the two of them were communicating telepathically, the person who had gone in to report earlier came out, saying that Eldarin had invited them in. Luo Qingtong guessed that the Dark Elder should be the leader of the guards in the scripture depository. Otherwise, the beast-tamer King Gu Guzhu and the others wouldn't have come to see him. Luo Qingtong followed beast-tamer King Gu Guzhu and others into the scripture pavilion. As soon as Luo Qingtong entered the room, she felt an extremely sharp gaze filled with malice and hatred directed at her. Her expression froze. She didn't know when she had offended someone here. However, when she looked up, she saw Fang Jingyu standing beside the Dark Elder, looking at her with a twisted expression filled with hatred. This hatred even extended to the beast-taming King Valley's Valley Master who was standing beside her. Jingyu? Fang Jingyu? Chapter 1905. Jingyu, what are you doing now? Haven't you had enough? The beast-tamer King Gu Guzhu looked at Fang Jingyu coldly. He didn't know why she was so insensible. He told her not to deal with Luo Qingtong first, but she didn't listen. Putting aside the fact that she almost killed him and the other higher-ups of the beast-taming King Valley, she even turned herself into such a monstrous monster. What was she doing now? Dark Elder. My daughter is mischievous, vicious, and vengeful. If she says anything to you, please don't listen. She's a lunatic. The beast-tamer King Gu Guzhu said coldly. At this moment, he only felt disgust for this troublesome daughter of his. He didn't love her at all. She was too good at causing trouble. She kept ruining his plans. He would rather have never given birth to this daughter. Hearing his merciless words, Fang Jingyu's face turned pale. Her hatred for Luo Qingtong deepened. Night Eye. Slut, it's you. You're the one who caused me to be betrayed by everyone. I won't let you off. I'll expose your mask. I'll expose everything about you to everyone. When the time comes, I'll make everyone apologize to me. Dark Elder, kill her. She's Night Eye. Ignoring the beast-tamer King Gu Guzhu, Fang Jingyu raised her hand and pointed at Luo Qingtong. Her face twisted with hatred, she said, I suspect that she's not a beast-tamer. She's plotting to infiltrate our beast-tamer valley and steal our secrets. Dark Elder, please investigate. If Dark Elder wanted to make a move on Luo Qingtong, he needed a legitimate reason. After all, Luo Qingtong was the business of the beast-tamer valley outside. But now, the other party was in his scripture pavilion and wanted to enter to look at the original beast-tamer arts manual. In that case, he had no choice but to take action and investigate properly. Hearing Fang Jingyu's words, the expressions of the higher-ups of the beast-tamer valley changed. What was Fang Jingyu talking about? Luo Qingtong wasn't a beast-tamer. How was that possible? She could control the silver fox and even their demon beasts. They saw it with their own eyes. Now she said she wasn't a beast-tamer. Did he think that they were all blind? The upper echelons of the beast-taming King Valley had a cold expression on their faces, and the beast-taming King Valley's Valley Master directly shouted, "Nonsense! What are you talking about? Get the hell out of here and don't make a fool of yourself here." Hearing Fang Jingyu's words, Luo Qingtong raised an eyebrow. Hers she thought she always, but she's always. She. So this was the reason why he suspected her, Luo Qingtong's expression was indifferent. The emotions in her eyes quickly relaxed. She didn't forget to send a message to Yi Qianming, look at that. You're such a failure as a contract beast. She actually suspects that I'm not a beast-tamer. Little Silver, who was Yi Qianming, laid in her arms. He snorted coldly and didn't say anything. It was good enough that he was willing to become her contract beast. What more did she want? Chapter 1906. What do you have to say? Oh. Luo Qingtong's expression was indifferent. She calmly looked at Fang Jingyu and said, I just want to ask Miss Jingyu, how did she know that I'm not a beast tamer? So many people in the beast tamer valley couldn't tell, but Miss Jingyu did. I'm really, very curious. Luo Qingtong's lips curved into a faint smile. When Fang Jingyu heard her calling her Miss Jingyu left and right, the expression in her eyes turned even colder and more sinister. This bitch, did she deliberately call her Miss Jingyu to despise her? Back then, she was high and mighty, so she was naturally called Miss Jingyu. Now that she had fallen into the dust, this bitch still deliberately called her that. Fang Jingyu's expression was cold. She gritted her teeth and looked at Luo Qingtong. She habitually raised her head and said, Of course I saw through your flaws. Night Eye. Yun Yen said that you arrived at Wind City when we were recruiting new disciples, but you didn't register at the place where we were recruiting new disciples. Instead, you joined our Beast Tamer Valley when you were being hunted. After that, you exploded with a powerful Beast Tamer talent and potential. You said that you didn't know that you were a Beast Tamer before. Then let me ask you, since you were already in Wind City at that time, why didn't you test your Beast Tamer talent? Fang Jingyu sneered at Luo Qingtong. She raised her head high, looking extremely proud. She continued, even if you weren't interested. But what about this little fox? She pointed at Yi Qianming. Since you said that you grew up with it, you treated it like family. Why didn't you test your Beast Tamer talent? Let it have a closer relationship with you? Luo Qingtong raised her eyebrows and looked at Fang Jingyu. So it was because of this that she doubted her? Luo Qingtong chuckled. So it's because I'm too good to you. She transmitted her voice to Yi Qianming. It seems that if there's a next time, I'll have to torture you. Before she finished speaking, Yi Qianming's gaze had already turned to her. There's a next time? It coldly snorted. This time was enough. In the future, he would never indulge her. However, Yi Qianming didn't notice how many times he had said this. In the end, she was still spoiled. This was truly a frequent face-slapping. While the human and fox were interacting, Fang Jingyu's expression was extremely ugly. Night Eye. I'm talking to you. She said coldly. She couldn't wait to tear Luo Qingtong apart. Since you're not saying anything, does that mean you're admitting it yourself? You think too much. Luo Qingtong's lazy voice sounded at this time. She kissed the little fox in her arms and patted her little paw away. She said with a calm expression, Yun Yen and I have a grudge. I was the one who exposed her collusion with the Celestial Palace. How can I believe her words? Of course, she chuckled and looked at Fang Jingyu, you can say that she was wronged, just like how you said that I'm not a beast tamer. But the Valley Master and the others all know that I'm a beast tamer. You're the only one who says that I'm not. Don't you think it's ridiculous? At this moment, Luo Qingtong didn't hold back and showed her sharpness. But everyone knew that the hatred between her and Fang Jingyu had reached the point where they couldn't live. If she continued to be a yes-man, it would be strange. Then do you dare to test your beast tamer talent? Chapter 1907. She firmly believed that Luo Qingtong had an ulterior motive for everything she had done. If that was the case, the other party would definitely not dare to test her beast-taming talent. Because from Fang Jingyu's point of view, the reason why Luo Qingtong pretended to be chased into beast-taming King Valley was because she had no beast-taming talent at all. She was a fake beast-taming master. If that was the case, then everything could be explained. The so-called valiant and powerful beast-taming art was actually a fake. Luo Qingtong only used a special method to cripple herself, and then let the demonic beasts in the beast garden counterattack. In order to not let others see through her, she deliberately pretended to faint. One had to say that Fang Jingyu still saw a part of the truth. However, she took the wrong path and guessed the wrong direction. The result could only be a tragedy in the end. All right. Luo Qingtong answered incomparably easily. Previously, she did not want to reveal that she had a contract and was very powerful, so she deliberately hid and entered beast-taming King Valley. Now that she had already been exposed, what was there to hide? Moreover, during this period of time in beast-taming King Valley, she already knew that the talent stone could see if a person was suitable to cultivate beast-taming arts and contract demonic beasts. Of course, those who had already contracted demonic beasts, needless to say, would definitely be revealed. But the specific level of the contract could not be seen. At most, it could see that you were very talented and very suitable. Since that was the case, then what was Luo Qingtong afraid of? If Fang Jingyu had used this to scare her, perhaps she would have been scared. As for now, Luo Qingtong smiled but did not say anything. You. Fang Jingyu looked at Luo Qingtong's incomparably calm appearance, and her heart was a little flustered. Could it be that she had guessed wrongly? Luo Qingtong was really a beast-taming master? Everything before was a coincidence, and what she thought was completely unfounded. How could it be like this? Things should not be like this. Fang Jingyu's heart was in a mess. In her view, the moment she said that Luo Qingtong was a fake beast-taming master, the other party should have been flustered. After she mentioned that she wanted to test her beast-taming talent, the other party should have been so flustered that she would kneel down and beg for mercy. But now, the one who was flustered was her. She was also the one who was about to panic. Take the talent stone. Beast-tamer King Gu Guju said coldly. Fang Jingyu ran to the Dark Elder to complain. Did she know how embarrassing it would be for her? In order to deal with Luo Qingtong, she really did everything she could to not let go of any loopholes. Since that was the case, he would fulfill her wish. Beast-tamer King Gu Guju had confidence in Luo Qingtong. Previously, the other party had intermittently demonstrated the beast-taming technique in front of them. If the other party didn't have any beast-taming talent, how could he possibly execute it? Only an idiot like Fang Jingyu, who didn't know anything, could come up with the idea that Luo Qingtong wasn't a beast-tamer. Beast-tamer King Gu Guju wondered if he had been possessed in the past. He actually doted on such a person so much and loved her like a jewel. She couldn't believe that she had given birth to such a fool. He had even doted on her for so many years. The beast-tamer King Gu Guju felt embarrassed just thinking about it. He directly asked someone to bring the talent stone. Luo Qingtong directly held the talent stone in her hand. In an instant, the talent stone blossomed with a dazzling white light. Very suitable for cultivating the beast-taming technique. The Dark Elder said at this time. He looked coldly at Fang Jingyu. What else do you have to say? Chapter 1908. The other party had come to complain to him. Saying that Luo Qingtong wasn't a beast-tamer and saying that beast-tamer King Gu Guju and the rest were fools who had been deceived by others. It was also because he didn't act impulsively. If he had really listened to her and captured beast-tamer King Gu Guju when he brought Luo Qingtong here, then it would really be a joke. Not only that, the enmity between them and beast-tamer King Gu Guju and the rest was huge. Thinking of this, how could Eldarin be nice to Fang Jingyu? Fang Jingyu's face was already ashen. She thought that she had caught Luo Qingtong's weakness, but in the end, it was just a joke. This girl had the talent of beast-tamer. Didn't that mean that everything that had happened in the past was real? Her strong potential was real, and her powerful beast-tamer secret art was also real? Then what chance did she have? She would never have the chance to take revenge in this lifetime. Thinking of this, Fang Jingyu's body slid to the ground in despair, and she fainted just like that. Looking at her body on the ground, Elder An's expression still didn't improve. This time, it's our fault. He looked at Beast Tamer King Gu Guju and said, "You brought her here to observe the original Beast Tamer secret art?" "Yes." Beast Tamer King Gu Guju nodded. "Then you can go up." Elder An flicked his sleeves and said. Originally, it wouldn't be so easy for Luo Qingtong to enter the scripture depository. Even if Beast Tamer King Gu Guju had enough reasons, but the scripture depository was guarded by the dark group, so what he said might not be final. Moreover, even if Elder An agreed, he might not let Luo Qingtong enter the 12th floor where the original Beast Tamer secret art was placed. Instead, he would let someone take the secret art. But now, because of this episode caused by Fang Jingyu, Elder An had done something unreasonable, so he couldn't stop Luo Qingtong anymore. And when Luo Qingtong found out that the original Beast Tamer secret art was placed on the 12th floor, the corners of her lips instantly twitched. "To be honest, I'm starting to like Fang Jingyu," she whispered to Yi Qianming. This was true love for her. Every time he caused trouble, he would be a great help to her. If it weren't for Fang Jingyu, Luo Qingtong wouldn't have been able to get close to the book so quickly. He wouldn't be able to find and enter the scripture depository so quickly. Fang Jingyu was risking her life to help her. Luo Qingtong shook her head as she recalled the scene of an elder coldly ordering people to drag Fang Jingyu away. Roar! Yi Qianming was inexplicably angry. It suddenly stood up from Luo Qingtong's arms and pounced on her with quivering ears. This woman was asking for a lesson. What did she like? Who did she like? Hey. I was wrong. Don't. Itchy. Luo Qingtong was pounced on by Yi Qianming. She laughed so hard that she couldn't breathe. Wasn't she just saying it casually? Metaphor. This man's jealousy was getting bigger and bigger. Fortunately, Yi Qianming knew that this wasn't the right place. He gritted his teeth and bit Luo Qingtong for a while before letting her go. Luo Qingtong quickly hugged him and coaxed him. The two fooled around as they went up to the 12th floor of the scripture depository. This place was only one floor away from Luo Qingtong's goal, the 13th floor. It was really convenient for Luo Qingtong. After Beast Tamer King Gu Guju and the others sent Luo Qingtong into her room, they retreated and waited outside. Chapter 1909. After they left, Luo Qingtong sized up the surrounding scene. This room seems to be used by the people of Beast Taming King Valley to store secret manuals. Luo Qingtong looks at the rows of bookshelves standing against the wall, filling up the entire incomparably spacious room. In the middle of the room, there is an extremely long table. The kind that can seat more than a dozen people side by side. And right in front of the table, there were 4 cultivation technique manuals that were hung up facing each other. These 4 secret manuals are the Beast Taming Art of Beast Taming King Valley. They are of the same origin, but the effects of the manuals are not the same. The first one has the weakest effect, the second one is slightly stronger. Luo Qingtong's gaze swept over them one by one, discovering that the 4th one is the Beast Taming Art of Beast Taming King Gu Guju's cultivation. Very obviously, its power and effect are stronger than the others. These 4 incantations were originally covered by a defensive barrier. Before the barrier is removed, there is no way to see the contents. But at this moment, these 4 manuals are all revealed in front of Luo Qingtong. It should be the instructions of Beast Taming King Gu Guju and the others. These people really can't wait to get their hands on the Beast Taming Art that she obtained. Luo Qingtong's complexion is indifferent. She sweeps through the 4 manuals. After thinking for a bit, the blood-red light in the bottom of her eyes flickers. She makes a copy of them, imprinting them in her pupils. Although Luo Qingtong has the heaven and earth contract, she doesn't need the inhumane beast-taming art of beast-taming King Valley. But there is no right or wrong manuals in this world. There are only people who use them wrongly. Killing with a sword is not a soldier's crime. Luo Qingtong thinks for a bit, but still memorizes these 4 manuals. What if there is some suitable place in the future where she can use them? If she can't use them, it's good to use them to cheat people. Luo Qingtong thinks about it and memorizes them. However, just as she was imprinting the spell formula into her pupils one by one, she suddenly noticed that something was amiss. Suddenly, Luo Qingtong discovers a surprising point. She stared in shock as the spells in her pupils overlapped one another. Then, one dot after another flashed in front of her eyes. It was indeed one point after another. These dots were scattered messily among the 4 cultivation methods, faintly outlining an indistinct outline. However, he couldn't see clearly what it was. There seemed to be something missing. Luo Qingtong looked surprised. She looked at this unexpected gain and decided to memorize it first. She would study it after leaving this place. She memorized the 4 incantations. Then, Luo Qingtong raised her eyes and glanced at the bookshelves in the room. She found that there were all kinds of precious cultivation methods, secret books, and combat skills of the sage realm and above, as well as all kinds of cultivation experiences. There were people from the beast-taming King's Valley as well as people from other sections. It seemed like the people of the beast-taming King's Valley had plundered these treasures over the years. These were all good things from the top sects. Of course, if it wasn't good, it wouldn't have been placed here. Luo Qingtong looked at the bookshelves in the room, and the corners of her mouth hooked up in an instant. What her subordinates lacked the most was this kind of foundation. With the various cultivation methods, secret books, and combat skills here, there were also cultivation experiences. Not to mention other things, Suyu and the others' combat strength could be increased by at least 5 times. In the future, the bottleneck problems encountered in cultivation would also be reduced a lot. Thinking of this, Luo Qingtong directly waved her hand. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Countless books and picture books moved with the wind in an instant. They were constantly flipping in midair. The blood light in Luo Qingtong's eyes flickered, and countless characters flew and disappeared into her pupils. Chapter 1910. Yi Qianming was lying in Luo Qingtong's arms, looking at this scene with narrowed eyes. This woman's eye technique seemed to have strengthened again. After Yi Qianming knew that Luo Qingtong cultivated an eye technique, he had sent people to investigate the relevant information, but there was no result. He didn't know the origin of Luo Qingtong's eye technique. But according to this scene, it was also extraordinary. Fortunately, this woman knew how to hide her strength and bide her time. She didn't easily reveal it in front of others and was very restrained. Otherwise, who knew how much trouble it would cause? After Luo Qingtong copied all the books and picture books, she turned to look in the other direction of the room. Her eyes were like blood. In just an instant, they pierced through the ceiling and looked at the 13th floor. The entire room was like a 3D model, spinning rapidly in Luo Qingtong's eyes. She could see it clearly from all directions and angles. It was a very empty room. There was only a bookshelf in the middle of the room. But there was only one lattice inside. Luo Qingtong's eyes were fixed on that lattice. That lattice was very strange. You could see that there was a lattice on it. But when you stared at it, you would find that the lattice seemed to appear in your illusion. You couldn't see it, you couldn't touch it. It was specious. And this was in Luo Qingtong's eye technique. If it were someone else, they wouldn't even be able to see this lattice. They would only see the existence of a solid wood. Luo Qingtong looked at this strange lattice and raised her eyebrows. She knew that this was the secret lattice that the golden-winged condor had mentioned. Her eyes moved down and soon found the position of the 12th floor corresponding to the secret lattice. Swish! Luo Qingtong's figure swept over. At the same time, she raised her hands and waved fiercely. Two streams of energy shot out soundlessly, setting up a restriction array on the door of the 12th floor. The illusion formation was a type of bewildering formation. It could slightly obstruct the person who pushed the door open and entered. There was nothing wrong with letting the other party see the scene behind the door. At the same time, Luo Qingtong was also alerted. If there were no major accidents, she should be able to rush back in time and deceive them. After Luo Qingtong was done, she leaped forward. Qianming. She looked down at the silver fox in her arms and whispered, "Can I borrow your claws?" With Yi Qianming's strength, the silver fox's claws were the sharpest weapon in the world. Under such circumstances, Luo Qingtong didn't need to think of other ways to destroy it. Yi Qianming snorted and nodded. He tried his best not to make a sound. That little fox's voice was simply too intoxicating. Wait a moment. Let me find a few key points first. Luo Qingtong wanted to go from the 12th floor to the 13th floor. Naturally, she could only break through the ceiling between the two floors. But the entire 13th floor of the Hidden Scriptures Pavilion was a hole. In this Hidden Scriptures Pavilion, there were countless arrays inside and outside. Triggering a layer of restriction was equivalent to triggering the alarm of the entire Hidden Scriptures Pavilion. This way, before Luo Qingtong could enter the 13th floor, she would be exposed. Therefore, she couldn't be reckless. Fortunately, Luo Qingtong used to do this in the past. Chapter 1911. One had to know that although her eye technique was at its peak at that time, it was better than now. But her physical fitness and strength were far inferior to her in this strange world. Therefore, it was more difficult for her to enter Area 51 than it was for her here. Buzz! The eye technique in Luo Qingtong's eyes kept spinning. From small to big, then to the entire Hidden Scriptures Pavilion. Luo Qingtong's eyes saw through this huge Hidden Scriptures Pavilion inside and out. She carefully calculated the position of the ceiling where she was and made all kinds of gestures. Yi Qianming watched as she drew one image after another in front of him. She marked the numbers one by one and then quickly erased them. He felt that it was novel and strange. What were these things? After Luo Qingtong used various methods to calculate the space and distance, she quickly found a few points to start from. Here, Qianming. Luo Qingtong raised her hand and used her strength to accurately circle a few points in the air. Then she said to Yi Qianming, "Remove the things in this circle." Yi Qianming looked at the few points that Luo Qingtong had circled. The biggest one was not even the size of a fist. He frowned. How could this woman crawl through such a small circle? Also, why did she make so many? Luo Qingtong saw that he was sizing her up and hurriedly said, "Don't be stingy." She just happened to draw the points on the restriction array, which was the most accurate result. This man better not do bad things for her. In fact, Yi Qianming really did have that idea. But at this moment, he glanced at the girl's nervous gaze and snorted coldly. He would never admit that he almost did that. Ow! Got it. Pa pa pa. Yi Qianming's little fox cry sounded. In an instant, the things in the few points that Luo Qingtong had drawn were cleanly dug out by Yi Qianming. The wind from his claws was sharp. In the blink of an eye, it pierced through the floor between the two floors, but it retracted just as it was about to pierce through. In terms of control over power, Yi Qianming was a natural king. He was not inferior to Luo Qingtong in terms of control over eye techniques. All right. Luo Qingtong chuckled and kissed the silver fox in her arms. Then, she raised her hand and pressed down on a certain spot on the ceiling above her head. Crack! With Luo Qingtong's strength, in an instant, the ceiling area surrounded by several points is broken. Under Yi Qianming's surprised gaze, the door opened slightly, revealing a small space that was big enough for Luo Qingtong to enter alone. The small holes that Luo Qingtong had made it dig all over the place, had inexplicably gathered together under Luo Qingtong's rotation, forming such a space. How did he do it? Yi Qianming was shocked. He clearly did not see Luo Qingtong use any of the array's power. And the array's power in the hidden scriptures pavilion was one. Destroying one would affect all of them. Luo Qingtong created a space as if she was performing magic. Ha! Luo Qingtong looked at the expression on Yi Qianming's cute fox face and instantly laughed. She kissed it and then carried it, jumping from the ceiling of the 12th floor to the floor of the 13th floor. Swish! Luo Qingtong's figure silently appeared in the room. Chapter 1912. It's here. Luo Qingtong's face was facing the hidden compartment. However, after Luo Qingtong jumped up, she discovered that this hidden compartment was different from what she had seen before. Or, the entire bookshelf was different from what she had seen before with her dojutsu. At this moment, the bookshelf that Luo Qingtong saw with her normal eyes was a normal bookshelf filled with grids. It was full of things. The brilliance was extraordinary, and it seemed that all of them were treasures. On the contrary, the hidden compartment that Luo Qingtong had seen before was gone. Luo Qingtong looked at the bookshelf, narrowed her eyes slightly, and then activated her dojutsu again. At this moment, under her gaze, the bookshelf returned to its original state of having only one compartment. And that hidden compartment was also clearly visible. Interesting. Luo Qingtong looked at the bookshelf and laughed. She raised her eyebrows, and was already sure that this bookshelf must be an illusion treasure. So the appearance of this bookshelf was completely different in her eyes. Those dazzling things were all fake. If she really touched those things, or wanted to take them away, then she would immediately trigger the array and alarm. And that hidden compartment, ordinary people couldn't see it. Interesting. The people of the beast-taming King Valley hid this so tightly? Luo Qingtong smiled and approached the hidden compartment. She didn't know what else was recorded in that booklet besides those secret things. Luo Qingtong opened the hidden compartment according to the method taught by the golden-winged condor. Originally, without the method taught by the golden-winged condor, Luo Qingtong would have needed a lot of time to open this hidden compartment. After all, she still had to crack it. This time, she saved a lot of time. After the hidden compartment was opened, Luo Qingtong directly took out the booklet. The cover of the booklet was engraved with the words, "Holy Booklet," and the rest was blank. Unexpectedly, there were only a few pages below it. Luo Qingtong originally thought that this booklet would record who knows how many years of the beast-taming King Valley, and that it would be very thick. She didn't expect that it was really just a booklet. Luo Qingtong's head was full of black lines. How many things could be recorded in just a few pages? Oh my, could it be that she had inquired wrongly from the beginning? Luo Qingtong felt a little regretful. However, the thing was already in her hands, it would be a waste not to look at it. Luo Qingtong was slightly depressed as she opened the booklet. When she flipped open the book, her mind shook violently. She was drawn into a mysterious space. One after another appeared in front of her eyes, like the Milky Way hanging in the sky, hanging in front of her. The rows of words seemed endless. Luo Qingtong was stunned when she saw these words. It's the book space. Yi Qianming's figure appeared beside her. This would mean that he was in human form. After all, it was mental power that entered the book space. Yi Qianming wasn't a real fox. His figure appeared here. Naturally, he was in human form. Qianming, you're here too. Luo Qingtong saw his figure appear, and her eyes lit up instantly. Yes. The man nodded, and then looked at the words hanging down. I didn't expect the people of the beast-taming King Valley to have such a book space. They should have obtained this booklet in the land of the fallen immortals. Well, how do I use this? You're tuning into the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.